Perhaps we need some outside universal threat to make us recognize this common bound. I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
Good evening and welcome to Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott. We're glad to have you here as we talk some UFOs with our good friend Karen Hill from Tucson MUFON. Yes, I know it's Tucson, people, but it's much more fun to pronounce the C as well. We're going to get into her stories, her encounters, talk some UFOs. What are they? Where are they? What are they doing? Yeah, we're going to have some fun with her tonight. And the best part about tonight, we also have each and every one of you. Yes, we do. Including SJ in the gold medal position, T-Bone with a silver, Tim Mothman and his goatee sharing a bronze medal tonight. We appreciate that as we start the rolling on down. We have Kitty Caddywhack, and we have Lightwalkers with a new member. Thank you, Lightwalkers. Mr. Cowley, how you doing? Race Fan, how you doing, my friend? Jerry Wills, how's it going? Welcome. And Robert Lamoth, good to see you. Harlequin Hope, welcome to SOR Chat as we continue on with our roll call. Michael Morris, the attorney at large. Mel WD-40 is here lubing us up for tonight's show because you can't talk Tucson MUFON without being lubed up. And I'm sure Karen would agree. You got to be lubed to talk some Tucson MUFON right there. Thunderhead, nice to have you back. Necessary Dialogue. Good to see you. Zed Hut, good to have you here. Deborah Rooney is here. Deborah Rooney will be signing autographs after the show. Line up to the left of the studio if you don't mind. To the left of the studio. She requires no video evidence. None whatsoever. Aussie Boss Tiger, how are you? JSCO, thanks for coming on in. And Kathy Evans, nice to have you here. Scrolling on down, we say hello next to number 22 in your program. Starting at center ice from Stockholm, Sweden, Lars Jansson, Operation Shutdown, Desert Rat, and United We Stand. Nice to have you here. Thank you for coming on in. Millennium, my man, Thomas Rock, Carol Amario, thank you for joining us. East Coast Turnaround, nice to see you. Jay True Seeker, always a pleasure to have you here. Algaray over on Twitch, so excited about tonight's show that he did 1,500 standing calf raises in under 4 minutes. And he even took a 2-minute break in between just to catch his breath. Good job tonight, Algaray. Captain K-Rod, always a pleasure. John Lamb is here. John Lamb will be signing autographs after the show as well. Line up to the right of the studio, if you don't mind. To the right of the studio. Jorgensen, good to see you. I'm Hardcore on X. Nice to have you here. Focus 2001. Welcome to SOR Chat. As we continue on with our roll call, B. Mora, how are you? Karen Mott, welcome to SOR Chat. Oh, hi there, Karen from Karen. Oh, I get it now. Okay, that's fun. That's fun. Okay, I'm still scrolling. And who's next on my list here? Well, let's take a look. We have Ozzy. What's happening? Welcome. And Luscious Jules, always a pleasure to have you here. And who's next? I'm just going to scroll on down quietly here because I'm talking really, really loud. It's Rock and Rory, everybody. Let's get the radio side going. Hello and welcome to the radio and podcast side of Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott. We're going to talk to Karen Hill from Tucson MUFON, talk about her experiences, interesting reports, and what makes a good UFO story. We're going to learn that and more tonight. We are ready to do our roll call on YouTube. We're almost done. Are you? Yeah, I can't even speak right now. Are you Yeti? Welcome. I'm so used to typing your name, I couldn't figure it out. Super Chat is open. It's a wonderful way to support what we do on this show on a nightly basis. And don't forget, you can shop at our Spaced Out Radio store. Why? We do not have ugly swag, people. No ugly swag. So make sure you check it on out. Undead Jed, nice to see you. Reminder, get your VIP tickets now for CaribouCon.com. CaribouCon, September 18th through 20th this year. I want to see you all up here in British Columbia. K17 Odd, how you doing? Nice to have you here. It is that time of the night, everybody, where I ask all of you a favor. Throw those horns up. Let's rock.
Are you ready to hear your mystic voice of the night?
It's time to wake up.
He's here. Shush. Be quiet. He's ready for you to listen. Let's point our ears towards the little cabin knows. We're together, friends. Oh. It's time for Spaced Out Radio with Dave Scott.
From the mountains of central British Columbia to you listening around the world, this, my friends, is Spaced Out Radio. I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. We welcome you to tonight's show on our terrestrial affiliates around North America, digitally on every major podcast network. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot. Read the news wire. Check out our swag as well. You can follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. Tonight's show is brought to you by Chive Charities. Help make the world 10% happier by visiting Chive Charities today. You can find them on our website. We have a great show for you tonight. We're going to talk some UFOs out of the state of Arizona. Karen Hill from Tucson MUFON will be here to talk about some incredible encounters. Then in hour number 3, Swamp Dweller joins us for another spooky story. We're going to leave right after that. I'm having trouble speaking tonight. You always got to wonder about a radio host who's having trouble speaking. Why is that happening? We can't restart the show. Well, either way, Swamp Dweller kicks off hour 3. Then after that, Josh Rutledge with the UFO report as the Wizard will join us once again. So let's get right to it, because I absolutely love talking UFOs. You know that if you've been listening for a while. Karen Hill is the director of Tucson MUFON, part of the Mutual UFO Network, leading one of Arizona's most active civilian UFO investigation groups. With a passion for unexplained aerial phenomena and community outreach, Karen coordinates sighting reports, organizes sky watches, helps educate the public about UFO research and responsible investigation. Under her leadership, Tucson MUFON promotes open discussion, scientific curiosity, and respectful engagement with witnesses and fellow researchers. Beyond MUFON, Karen is a creative communicator who uses photography, design, and social media to connect with people who are ongoing research and sky watching events. She frequently speaks at conferences and collaborates with investigators and encourages everybody to look on up and ask questions. TucsonMUFON.com. It's TUCSON MUFON, MUFON.com. Let's bring her on in. Karen Hill, it is a pleasure to have you on Spaced Out Radio for the first time. Probably should have happened a long time ago, but you never said, "Hey, can I come on the show?" So I'm blaming you.
I mean,
How
I
are you?
was on twice with Rob G, but I've never
Well,
had the pleasure of talking with you.
I
So
know
thank
it's
you.
so exciting because you're actually, for full disclosure, you are actually a very avid listener and member of our YouTube chat, and I always appreciate you when you are in there because
Yes.
you're always so smirk. You're so smirk.
And sometimes I log on with my phone and sometimes with my laptop, and I have two different names typing at once.
Oh my goodness, you're one of them. You're one
Yeah.
of them. Oh,
I'm that Karen.
look at you doxing your own sock puppet account on the chat room. That's nice. I want to
Well,
ask you, my friend, why do you
mhm.
love this subject so much? What does it for you?
'Cause it's different, like, no one really talks about it, like, I guess, in my circle of friends, and I'm like, "Let's talk about this more, and let's dig more and go out and do more with this and learn about it," and I don't it's fun and, like, it doesn't have everyone's attention, and it's definitely got mine.
You fell in love with this subject a long time ago,
Mhm.
and you have personally invested your time, your money, your effort, your emotions, and everything to this. Why do that? Why do that for people?
Uh I guess what else am I gonna do with my money? I guess like my first UFO conference that I went to was in 2016, which was also the same year that I went to Melinda Leslie's UFO tours and captured, I guess, UFOs with night vision. And I guess from there is a jumping point of like, let's do more, let's see more, and try to bring people with us. Because like I would ask people like who wants to go to Sedona and do UFO tours, and like some people would be like, yeah, that sounds fun, but like they never actually got out there with me to go do it.
What was the hook? What was take us back to that time when you, Karen, were all of a sudden like, I need to investigate this. I need to put time into it. What was the situation that was actually the fish hook being set by the UFOs and aliens in your mouth?
I guess I think it was Sedona because I remember like I was on Melinda's tours, and then I went to UFO Congress in Phoenix, and then there was a MUFON booth there, and I was telling them like we saw like a craft in Sedona, and my friend has UFO tours every night, and you guys should go talk to her. And then I thought it was weird how they wanted to know about the craft I saw like months ago, and I'm like, no, it's every night. You can go out there any night and you'll see something. And they weren't interested in when I said every night. So I don't know. I was like, I will do it myself. And then I became a member of MUFON, and yeah, I don't know. I'm still doing it myself. It feels like.
Had you seen UFOs prior to that? Or was it
No.
no?
Well, I guess once when I was 13, I saw like four dots like really far apart in the sky, just moving, uh, like they were together, just moving across the sky. I thought that was weird, but nothing
What
really stands
what
out
did
to
they
me
look
for
like?
it. It was just like it was like a trapezoid, just fours, and then they're just going across the sky, but it was really big. And this was probably almost 30 years ago.
Wow. How has UFOs changed you? How has this topic made you who you are today?
I guess it's made me a lot weirder. Because I don't know, I mean, some people will gladly talk about UFOs, and some people, they're just like, I know literally nothing about the subject, and I'm going to go look over here. Bye. I don't know. I guess it's made me more eccentric. I do Time Lift, which is a really fun app where you have dinner with strangers every Wednesday. And that's what I try to bring up at the dinner table. And some people are really interested, and some people are like, you're not fun, which is weird because how are UFOs not fun?
What's the response from people when you tell them what you do? Like if a
Um,
stranger comes up to you and says, "Oh, Karen, what do you do for a living?" "Oh, I chase UFOs." What's the response you get?
I mean, the best response that I heard was, "I sat here for 15 minutes and you didn't say that to me as soon as I sat down." Um, I mean, some are really fascinated. Like, they kind of like everyone just stops talking about whatever they're talking about, and then they just kind of talk about UFOs, and then they try to bring up that they saw one, and then it's kind of like a big sharing table of UFO and paranormal activity that everyone has seen, which is fun. That's my kind of table.
Have you noticed over the years, since you got more and more involved with UFOs, that this is becoming more of a dinner type topic and not just something that we should be talking to people, very quietly and obscurely?
Right, yeah. Like, if there was one woman who, like, after dinner, she waited for, like, us all to leave and then just wanted to talk to me privately about how she feels like she had been abducted. I'm like, "Why don't you say that in front of everybody? Because that's pretty cool. That was a ghost." Um, uh, I'm sorry, I forgot the question.
That's okay. Just no word of a lie though. It's easy to see that you have a real love and passion about this show. Or not this show, I'm sorry, this topic. As you have moved forward with it, where it's gone from a very curious hobby to something that is a part of your everyday life, what has changed about you as a person as you've morphed more into this?
I guess the stuff I buy, like the tech, like, I guess UFO hunting equipment, and getting better at photography and learning more, and then I guess getting resilient to being outside in cold weather. And I guess it's made me more social because, like, I would have to go out and find people to go explore areas with. Like, uh, I've I frequently go out with Jurgen to Bradshaw Ranch when I'm in Sedona, and like it was actually him who reached out to me, but like we go out together and like we always meet new people, and it just feels so natural just meeting people at Bradshaw who I've never met before, and like we're on the same page of looking and searching and talking.
The topics that you get into are far beyond just seeing little dots in the sky.
Yeah.
What do you love about this conversation?
Like ours right now, or
Just in when you're talking about this, what do you love talking about about this topic?
I guess I like learning like the new things. Like if someone brings something to the table I hadn't heard before, probably like the missing time stories are different, like the apparitions and the things that could be hallucinations or not, like just something new that kind of would like open like a new chapter of what is the possibilities of UFOs or other dimensional creatures. And like sometimes like if Bigfoot is with UFOs, like that's wild too. And if Dogman shows up, like then it's a party, and like I want to know more about that.
What have you learned about these topics?
I've kind of learned that everything is all connected. Like, I mean, I would watch Ancient Aliens a lot when I was younger, and like from like I guess like ancient artifacts to current like native cultures, and then artifacts and art, and then meditation and crystals and sacred geometry, and like everything is kind of all related to each other, and it's neat trying to piece that all together. Because like you can't really talk about one
Why do you
subject.
believe it's all tied together?
Say what?
When I started in this business 10 years ago, when I started 11 years ago now, gosh, I didn't think that anything was tied together.
Mm-hmm.
I really thought it was all kind of segregated and really everything was its own field. But as I developed more, probably around year 5 of this show, I really started realizing that a lot more researchers were tying the phenomena all together. And that's, something that I believe in, and especially now, which I didn't believe in before. Why do you think this is all tied together?
I guess the world is smaller than we think, but like I don't know, people have come up to me and they're like, "You're not a typical MUFON investigator. Like you're more interested in like everything else and not just narrowing it down to like UFOs." Because yeah, I mean, like Tucson has like the largest gem show in the world, and it's every early spring, or I guess technically late winter, but I mean for us it's spring because I guess spring starts mid-January. Um, uh, but so like crystals are fun, but then also I've heard that all these crystals all in one place attracts humanoid ETs. And I have a friend who said that he saw someone who did not look human and he just kind of watched him for a while, which makes sense to me because of other areas that are known for having like a lot of UFO or Bigfoot sightings. Like they have a lot of the same minerals in the ground, and it's like these minerals and crystals are like bringing all the weirdos to the yard.
The weirdos are good though.
Yeah. Yeah, Bigfoot, UFOs, people who like crystals, they're all weird.
That is very true. Very true. And if you're a crystal person, you cannot deny that. You are a weirdo, a healthy, good, spiritually cleansed weirdo. And be proud of that.
Definitely.
Be proud of that. Absolutely. Karen,
like I'm wearing moldavite right now.
Oh, look at you with your moldavite. as I sit here with soda light around my microphone in order to make me a little bit more relaxed and in tune. Sometimes it doesn't help when I'm trying to talk though, but that's okay. That's okay. Karen, as you have kind of matured in this field, have you had your own experiences? Do you think as you've got a little bit more into this and started hearing and seeing more and reporting more, has the phenomena really started to attach itself to you?
I mean, I kind of wish. I guess a lot of the things that I've encountered, I don't know what to explain. So like I couldn't say like I saw a ghost or I saw a troll or I actually saw a UFO. I'm just like, I don't know what I saw, but it was weird and strange and I've never seen or heard anything like that. Like once on my television in the other room at like 2 a.m, there was like a weird troll / alien that looked like it was created by the South Park people, and it was just on the screen and I was just like, what is that? And it wasn't moving. But then when I went up to like, this was so old that like the power button was on the TV itself, so like I went to like go turn it off, and then like I thought I was on pause, but like the little whites of his eyes, like it shifted and it stared at me, and as I was turning it off, and I was just like, what is this? So that was terrifying. But like I've had a few just weird stuff like that.
What? Well, share a little bit of this weirdness, man.
Okay, so I guess when I was younger, probably like middle school, like I don't wake up early for anything. Like I'm probably late to work every day. But I remember like it was like early, like 6 a.m, and I saw like a light kind of like shining through my window, like right at my eyes, and this window was probably like 8 feet away. And I was like thinking rationally, like there was nothing that would reflect like the sunrise, the sunlight in my face like that. And now that I think back of it, I'm like, that was probably like a craft or something just hanging outside my window. But I mean, there is no way that I was going to get up out of bed and go look. So I just turned over and went back to bed. But I'm kicking myself now because I'm like, what was that? Oh, and once when I was... Say what?
What do you think it was?
I mean, right now, like even if there was a car parked out there, it was too high of an angle to be reflecting light back through my window. So it was really shiny. It was just like a pinpoint of just white light.
How big was it?
I mean, small enough to come through like the little wooden slats. It was tiny but blinding, and I was just kind of like, oh, I just want to sleep, stop. And I just rolled over.
Do you find that you start investing yourself and your own emotions into your reports now when you're working with Tucson MUFON?
Not really. No. I mean, sometimes the reports are kind of exhausting. Like, it's really annoying when, like, I know from, like, the apps that, like, it wasn't a plane and it's not a satellite and it's not like a celestial event. And, like, I can't explain it. Like, someone will describe it like it was just going in a straight line and then it wasn't, and it was all really fast. So it's just like, I don't know how to say what that was because I wasn't there to see it. So I guess a lot of the cases that are really hard to prove are annoying to me because I'm like, I wish I was there to see that.
What about the people you get to chat with? People
Some are
who,
really interesting.
yeah,
Like, I had one guy who, like, I was trying to figure out what he did for a living because that's one of the questions you have to ask. And he was kind of like it sounded like he'd never worked at all because he was like, oh, I guess I don't do anything for a living. And I'm like, okay. And then he said, like, in the late 90s or early 2000s, he wrote a self-help book and it just went crazy on Amazon, and he was making $200,000 a month for this self-help book for 12 years. So I'm like, yeah, if you're making that much, you don't have to work. So I mean, that guy was interesting. And then a lot of engineers and retired police officers. And one guy had a really interesting case where there was fog. Like, he was driving from Phoenix to Las Vegas, and like on the side of the road was fog on both sides. And it was like probably 6 p.m. So there was definitely no reason to be fog in Arizona. And this was in the summer. But he had a bad missing time. So like, that's exciting. And he said like when he got to his destination, it was like he couldn't remember like the trip. And then like he went up to the hotel and put his bags back, and then he went back for his second round trip, and he was just like, I don't know how to get to the room. But he had a 7-year-old with him, and a 7-year-old was like, the escalator is there, that's where we came from, and then we go up. So like that was definitely an interesting case. And he said that because he frequently goes to Las Vegas a lot, and then he said the second time he went, similar stuff happened, but I don't think there was a fog that time.
we have 90 seconds to go before we have to go to break at the bottom of the hour. From Tucson MUFON, Karen Hill is our guest tonight on Spaced Out Radio. How much do you love doing this?
It's a roller coaster. I mean, a lot of times it's exhausting, but like it's still fun, and yeah, it has its ups and downs.
What's the ups and downs?
It's exciting. I get to meet new people. I get to talk to like-minded people, and then the ups or the downs is it's exhausting. Like, I guess finding speakers for my meetings is a little tiring, and filling out the MUFON reports, that's a lot. That's also tiring.
Well, when we get back from the break, we're going to get into Tucson MUFON, what you do for them, and filing reports and how people can do that. We're going to get into a lot of this really cool stuff coming on up because it is important. You know, it's
Okay.
important for the public, and I'm going to assume you're going to agree with me on this, but it's so important for the public to be able to have a place where they can get their report heard and maybe hear of other types of reports that are maybe similar from their area. And even if they aren't from their area, maybe they're similar enough to be able to say, hey, we have something with continuity going on here. This is Spaced Out Radio. My guest tonight is Karen Hill. She's the state director for MUFON Tucson MUFON. Either
Yes.
way, it still works both ways. TucsonMUFON.com is the website. Holy cow, I got to reel in the words here. My brain and the mouth are not working properly tonight. Let's see. Alaska's greatest athlete. Thank you so much for the super chat. Greatly appreciate it. One of my faves. Along with Deb Rooney. Thank you, Deb, for kicking off the super chat tonight. We really appreciate your love and support. Spaced Out Radio, that's me. And my team. Thank you to Lightwalkers for the membership. Who's joined us late here? Love you back. Love you back. All right, let's continue on. Julie Rios, how are you? A voice for American culture. How are you? Ben to the know. Athena, nice to see you tonight. Well, you say hello to Phyllis Boucher Perry, John Lamb. You give that Phyllis Boucher Perry a big hug from us. Harlequin Hope, welcome back to the show. Loves your comment. Our Christos bring all the weirdos to the yard. Yes, they do.
Mm-hmm.
Can't make this shit up sometimes. It's true. Aussie Ange, how are you, beautiful? TV banter all the way from Brazil. Hold on, I have to check my map here. Where in Brazil are you? Oh, Joe, did you change your name? Charles Wempe, how are you? I am on the cusp of heartburn right now.
Oh, yeah.
I hate heartburn, Karen.
I'm sorry. There's probably a crystal for that. Just kidding.
Karen and I get to meet this year, just a couple of months.
Yeah, March.
In March at UFO Con. Go to caufocon.com, get your tickets.
Most
Come
definitely.
hang out with Karen and me because we're gonna have fun.
Lots
Ryan
of fun.
C, how are you? I had a big plate of spaghetti, and then I doused it in hot sauce. So now the hot sauce is saying, "Hey, man, it's time for you to pay the price." And I'm like, "No." And it's like, "Yeah, you don't have a choice." And I'm like, "No." And it's like, "Yeah, we're gonna burn you now." I'm like, "No." But what it's not doing things. What about Indiana? Oh, Indiana Dave. That's right. Question is, do I take the Tums now beforehand, or I take it when it's the burn starts? I'm going right now. I'm going to just be a rebel and take it right now. There are two things in radio that you always need. You need Tums, and you need Vicks inhaler and water. I want to see something here. Hold on. Try this out. Oh, look, there's Dave.
Oh my
There's
God,
Dave.
there's two of them. Maybe we can't hear you. Did my audio stop working or did his mic stop working?
It's me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's me. Yeah, don't worry. All right. Let's have 2 Daves going here tonight. Why not?
Why not?
Let's go like that, though. So that way it looks like I'm looking at you.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm looking there. Thank you tonight to Deborah Rooney, Alaska's greatest athlete, and Benno for the super chats. Ryan C., how you doing? Here we go. Here we go with the second half hour of Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott. I'm here to talk some UFOs. I hope you're here to listen, as we have Karen Hill from Tucson MUFON here with us tonight. Reminder to you, if you've missed portions of this show or others, our archives are always free. Go to YouTube or any major podcast network. Website, spacedoutradio.com, and check us out on all social media platforms. Let's go right to Karen here, because we're having fun. Tell us about Tucson MUFON. How did you get involved?
So I would go to Phoenix MUFON a lot, and when I lived in Phoenix, and then I had to move back to Tucson, and I told Stacy, right, the director of Phoenix MUFON, that I was moving back to Tucson, and she was like, Tucson hasn't had a director in a few years. Would you mind filling that spot? And before I really thought about it, I said yes. And so I had to figure out, I guess, how to be a director real fast.
What is the job of a director?
Finding speakers, locating a venue, and then having monthly meetings.
That's it?
I think so. But I don't know. I feel like I go extra with mine just because I can. So like I'm a designer and a graphic artist, and like I wanted to like make fun swag, and so like I designed stickers per the speaker. So if the speaker is talking about Bigfoot, like I'll just make a lot of Bigfoot stickers and sell those at every meeting. So like every monthly meeting has custom stickers.
So do you think then for yourself, okay, for yourself, that with being part of this, how much do you enjoy reading the reports? How do the reports work for you?
I mean, sometimes I read it and I'm like, oh God, this is gonna be really hard to figure out. But I mean, like at first, yeah, there was definitely interesting, because one of the first ones I read happened to a guy like 12 years ago, and he saw like a blimp and it was being chased by helicopters, and he was in his vehicle, and when he wanted to like really see it, and so he lowered his car window, and like a day later, like a spot just appeared on his nose, and I'm sure it's still there, but it was the size of like a thumbprint, and his doctor was like, we don't know what it is, but it's not cancerous, so sorry, it's just there now.
What's the weirdest case that you've taken in?
I mean, that one was pretty weird with the thumbprint, and then his car stalling when it got a certain distance from him, and then like the fingerprint on his nose, and then there was another guy with like the fog on his way to Vegas. Trying to think of others. Like my really boring ones are just things that could possibly have been satellites. There was an interesting one with like ring cameras. I think they kind of like the ring camera was capturing the movement of the moon and Jupiter as it was setting in the sky, and like it showed it to this person as it was like a video. So it was two lights like falling, and I really had to figure out what the ring camera was doing, because like I had also at that time been following the moon and Jupiter because they were so close to each other. It looked really cool. And then like this person kind of saw the same thing, so I had to like prove that it was Jupiter and the moon. So that was
How
exciting.
often do you think people misconstrue planets or satellites for UFOs?
More than it should. Like every time, like in Arizona, we have, I guess we're really close to Vandenberg, where Elon launches those SpaceX rockets, which look really cool in the sky. It's just like a big, it's huge. And like when someone new will like come to Arizona and then see it and like freak out, like the world is ending. Like, what is that? Because it does look, it takes up like a good part of the sky, and it's crazy. And it's like every time it happens, someone's like, "Oh my god, the sky is falling." Like they call their family and say goodbye, and it's ridiculous. Like I wish everyone knew about like the string of satellites from Elon Musk, and then the really cool rocket launches that we can see. And just I feel like there's no reason why we shouldn't be so knowledgeable, why we couldn't be more knowledgeable anymore about current launches and just information.
A lot of people still don't know what a UFO is. A lot of people are still struggling with trying to figure out what is going on and everything. How do you take somebody who may have claimed that they have seen a UFO, but just want more information about whether or not they saw what they thought they saw?
I usually don't get that. I usually get people who come up to me and then tell me a really boring orb / unidentified flying object story, and how God, it's like a really like simple story that somehow needs to take 8 minutes to tell me. And then they say it was the most amazing thing they've ever saw, and more amazing than their children being born. And I'm just like, I have to get out of here, because there's way more exciting things than the orbs. Like I'm almost like I'm tired of the orb stories, because like in Tucson, like we see orbs like almost every night, just kind of floating from northwest to the east, and it's every night. And I mean, some people in other parts of the Southwest have been able to see them, and we don't know what they are, which is interesting. And I don't know, I would love to figure out what those are, because they almost act like Marfa lights, where they just kind of like appear and then they're just like drunk and then they just fade away.
The orb story, I think, that really kind of took over in 2023 to 2025, especially. And it seems like it's going to carry over in
Yeah.
2026. Do you find that it goes with trends, like with the so-called big name people in this field are talking about, that all of a sudden, that's what everybody is all of a sudden seeing and reporting?
I don't know. I mean, like New Jersey definitely had that drone stuff that lasted like 3 or 4 months. But I almost guess it depends on like where you are. Like if there's a well-known speaker and if he just wants to talk about orbs all night, then I guess like there's gonna be other followers that also want to talk about the orbs because it's trending. But I mean, Arizona is a hot spot in general for just UFOs in the sky. So I mean, people will and people are not getting any better at taking photos at night. So it's a dumpster fire.
You have to have discernment for a job like with what you do with Tucson and being a team director there. I mean, how many people do you have working in that field?
With me in
Yeah, with
Tucson?
MUFON. Tucson MUFON.
Like MUFON field investigators?
Yes.
Or I kind of don't know of any in Tucson. Like I feel like the closest one I have is my friend Amanda in Benson. Like the previous MUFON director, Tucson MUFON director, and the the chief analyst for Arizona, she had just passed in November. And other than that, I don't know if there's any other field investigators in Tucson. If there are, they should come say hi.
How many reports do you get?
Maybe like 7-ish a year.
That surprises me, considering how many UFO sightings there are in Arizona.
True. I feel like there's a guy who lives near me. His name is Jeff Woolwine, and he, like, almost every night permitting, like weather permitted, he is filming the orbs that float over the Catalinas. And I'm really glad that he does not like report those, because it's every night, and that would just get exhausting, and it would just maybe shut down like that little part of Arizona MUFON, because of like it's every night. And then if he sees them every night, then other people are seeing them every night, and that's a lot of cases.
Okay, so let's delve into this whole orb thing here. Let's explain to people what we are talking about.
Okay.
Tell us about orbs.
I guess the ones that we see in Tucson, like they kind of show up either between like 8 and like 1 in the morning. It kind of depends on what time of year also, which is also interesting. But like I see them northwest, and they kind of just pop in the sky, and then they just kind of float. And then at some part they get really bright, and then they get dim again, and then they turn off. And then sometimes there's like 7 at a time, and like every 45 seconds there's a new orb, and like you can sit and watch it for like an hour or more. And definitely this year, like I want to go out and just go live on YouTube to an area where like there's no clouds, and like you just see the orbs. But I mean, that's what we see, and they're either white to yellow, and they're not too far off the horizon. Well, either 45 degrees or lower.
What color are they?
Like white or yellow. And
Now,
definitely
do you not think that that's maybe just, part of the horizon playing tricks?
I don't know, because it's so many of them. So what is it? Like, I'm sure there's hundreds of orbs like per night, especially in the summer. Like I don't go out right now because it's cold. Oh, it's also rainy. So Jeff is probably not filming them. Do you see these orbs in your area?
I don't know how to define orbs.
Okay.
That's a good question. And the reason why I say it like that is because I see a lot of satellites. Okay. I don't know the difference between, it's kind of like the whole drone thing. Everything was a drone. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When the whole drone hype happened around the US election and then around Inauguration Day, everything all of a sudden became a drone. It was the new hype word for what we were doing. Okay, now that seemed to die off, and now we're back to orbs. I don't know what an orb is. I've never seen an orb in the daylight. I see satellites, or what I perceive as satellites, at night. Okay, now, have I seen orbs pushing through the trees? Yeah, at my Sasquatch spot, I have seen that. And in fact, I've even seen what I believe to be like orange, dark orange, almost red orbs sitting on my fence posts. But I know this area where I live also has a dynamic and history about fairies. So you go to any of the older houses in my area, including mine, we all have fairy gardens that we don't touch.
That's adorable.
You'll see people with these perfectly manicured yards, and then there will be one area that's just kind of left to nature, where everything's kind of overgrown and everything, and it's because you keep that as your fairy garden.
That's cool. I want to build one.
Yeah.
It would be hard to build one without the javelinas. destroying it.
So I don't know, and I apologize. I've never really admitted that on this show. I really don't know what an orb is.
I guess it's just a ball of light. That would be technically the easiest way to describe it. And the ones we see are very far away, but people have seen some as like close as like the trees for you. And I had a friend who was at Bradshaw Ranch, and there's so many orbs when you take pictures, and it was interesting because he was inside the ranch house, and he asked for all the entities in the room to show up for this picture, and he took the picture, and then he said thank you, and then he was like, please don't be in my picture this time. And he took a picture seconds later, and there were 0 orbs in it. And then there was another dude who was taking a video outside of Bradshaw Ranch, like at the gate, and there was this weird orb that manifested like 10 feet in front of him, and it was just kind of like floating around a tree, which was really bizarre. I had never seen that before.
How far are you from the Bradshaw Ranch?
Sedona, I can get there in 3.5 hours.
That's not too bad.
No.
It's not too bad at all. Do you think then that that place is special? Do you think
Yes.
that when you hear Jurgen Hess or you hear Melinda Leslie talk about what goes on there, do you think it's that special?
Yeah, and I would love to know why. I don't understand. Like, I know there's quartz crystal found in the area, and I know there's supposedly like a portal nearby. But I mean, I would love to know what was special about that ranch. And like, I think like when the government bought that ranch, I feel like they bought like a bunch of other properties with it, but like no one seems to be talking about the other properties. And I would love to know if there's weird stuff that happens over there as well.
We've all heard the stories of Bradshaw Ranch, whether it's the UFOs, the dinosaurs, the Sasquatch, the wolf packs, the dogmen, or the strange 3-toed creatures that seem to leave prints. Have you had any experience with that?
No, but I wish I have. Like, the scariest thing that I wouldn't want to experience would be like a missing time. But I mean, sometimes I'll be on the ranch and like it feels very calm and loving and peaceful, and like I could just be here forever. But like I guess in my few times there at night, I'm just like I just want to leave. And like one of my first times there, I was with Melinda and Jurgen and Lorian Fenton and Jim Goodall, and I mean that was as close to his nightmare as I've ever lived through.
What happened?
It was mostly like the unknown, and like our groups split up, which is something you never do, especially in a scary movie. Like you don't split up, but Jurgen and UFO Garage Team like went off their another way, and then Melinda, Jim, and my friend Ashley, we went inside the house, and like it felt like we were not alone. And then Jim wanted to take his picture by the wall, and then Melinda just got a new phone and she couldn't figure out how to take a picture, and like something is going to eat us before this picture happens. And so I had to quickly show her how to use her phone and then take the picture. And then I was like, we have to find the guys, because if anything happens, I'm the strongest one here to defend all of us. So I want to leave because I'm not ready for that responsibility. And so then we were out in the field for like, I felt like an hour, and I felt like we were just sitting ducks for anything to just come and happen. And then Lorian Fenton was still in the car, and I'm like, she's probably gone, disappeared, dead, I don't know. And then when we were finally like heading back, like we were so close to the cars, and then like I was like leading us like straight path to the cars. And then Melinda was like, stop, let's go between and around the houses. I'm like, why are we going like 200 extra yards? We don't need to do that. And then she was like, stop, everyone. And she was like, this area right here is a portal. And she was like, there's more UFOs, more Bigfoot, more ETs, more orb, more paranormal activity that happens right here than anywhere else in Sedona. And I was just like, I don't want to be here. And then like someone said to turn off all the lights. And I was just like, no, I was almost having like an outer body experience, like trying to wake myself up from this dream that wasn't a dream, it was real life. And then when like we finally like we got out of there and back to the cars, and I was really happy that Lorianne was still in the car, because I thought maybe she was going to be missing, and then we would spend more hours trying to find her. But thank God she was just in the car.
That sounds pretty intense. Talk about that feeling of not having control and feeling like you're being watched.
I mean, like you feel like you're being watched, and you like, it's kind of like how many eyes are on us right now, and like what are they thinking? And like there was another time where I was on the ranch with Brandon Fugel, the owner of Skinwalker Ranch.
Yes.
And then Thomas Winterton, and then both of them brought their wives, and their wives were like more interesting than they were, because the wives were like, we see things. And so I was just like, what do you see? Like all throughout the night. But I think Thomas Winterton's wife, like we got out to like the far end of the field, and then she just started screaming, and we were all like, what? And she said she saw like 30 entities just out there staring at us. And we were like, why are they doing that? And she was like, they're trying to figure out why we're out here. And I was like, I'm also trying to figure out why we're out here. It's 10:30 at night. This is just supposed to be a sunset tour.
But that takes me back to Flight 21 and our investigation there, because it wasn't until dusk and then into that early night when things started getting hairy. And if you're alone in nature, you know that you're not the only one there. Never mind the ghosts that could be there, but you know that there are animals there. You know there are things bigger than you there that are just watching your every move, and they may not be making a sound, but they are there watching. And just take away all the weird woo that we deal with. That's scary enough and intimidating enough, my friend.
Yeah. I don't like camping for that reason. I'm like, everything is out here with us.
Ever tell you why I don't like camping?
Because of that.
No. It's much more than that.
Bathrooms.
It's air mattresses.
Yeah.
I hate air mattresses. Every time I buy an air mattress, the damn thing pops or gets a leak in it. And I end up sleeping on the hard ground, or you get that V in the mattress, and you're stuck in there, and then you can't get out of the damn thing in the morning when you awaken.
Yeah.
I hate air mattresses. That's why I don't camp. Because of air mattresses. It ruined camping for me. Would you camp there?
I kind of wonder when you're actually gonna camp at Bradshaw, but I've camped with him at a Lolo Mai, which is, I guess, some miles away from it's some miles away from Bradshaw, but he and other people have heard of Bigfoot trampling through the area. And I remember one night, it was probably like 3 a.m, like I heard something like grunting as it was running like through the tall grass, and it kind of heard bipedal, and like the grunting, like I felt like I heard it in my chest, like it echoed in here, and I was just like, oh my God, like I hope they kept running and it's far from me right now, because this is just the nylon that's protecting me of the tent.
I haven't. Last time I went camping was in 2024 with Merle and with Samantha Mowat. And we were all in a tent. They actually recorded me snoring, if you could believe that, on camera. I think I kept the Bigfoot and the animals away with my snoring. But before I went to bed that night, all I was thinking was, how am I going to react if all of a sudden this large Bigfoot hand starts like patting the tent? Yeah, I don't know how old Davy would do that. That I
No.
see a heart attack happening. That's a
Yeah,
jammer for me right there. Karen, we're through 1 hour on Spaced Out Radio. We are going to take a break here. And we're going to continue with the UFO and fun talk with Karen. Take audience questions as well. This is Spaced Out Radio with host Dave Scott. Space Case, how you doing? Welcome to our chat. Karen, we're going to take a quick break. I'm going to put you in the green room. We'll be right back, dear. You're doing awesome. You're doing great. Be right back. All right. We got about a minute to go here. And let's bring, I don't think Karen's in her chair yet. Oh, there she is. She's just leaning back.
Yes.
That's why I couldn't see her. All right. Good times. Thank you tonight to Benno ×2, Deborah Rooney, and Alaska's greatest athlete for our super chats. Greatly appreciate your love. Let's see here. Who else do we got here? Scroll on down. I've got you all. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up if you don't mind. We really need it for the algorithms. Blue Skies, how you doing? Nice to see you. Everybody over on X, hello for listening in. And here we go, everybody. We are into hour number 2 of Spaced Out Radio. Good to have you with us. My name is Dave Scott. We appreciate you tuning us on in wherever you are on this beautiful planet we call Earth. Hello to everyone listening in on our terrestrial affiliates around North America, digitally on every major podcast network. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire, check out our swag as well. You can follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. Sacramentarianism. Sacramentarianism is your password. Use it wisely, Space Travelers, as the Clam sets the password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. Tucson MUFON is here tonight. Her name is Karen Hill, and she is an investigator with MUFON, checking on out UFO sightings, trying to figure out what the heck is flying in our sky, because the sky is not plural. It is one word. There's only one sky out there. Just so you know, there's only one sky. Little journalism 101 there. Karen, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. Studio's a little warm. Should have probably opened the window a crack. We got a nice snowfall happening outside SOR headquarters right now. You know, it's been snowing for about, 5-6 hours now, which is cool. I like it when that happens. You know, I know you in Arizona, you don't really know what snow is.
No.
It's white stuff that falls from the sky.
And it's cold.
It's not that cold.
It's ice cold.
Right now, it is 20 degrees Fahrenheit or -7 Celsius.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. You just need a hoodie will keep you warm. You can just feel her rolling her eyes at me.
Yeah, I mean, if it gets below 70 degrees, like you pull out your parka.
Not even close.
Mm-hmm.
Not even close.
I worry that if you came here in the summer, you might refuse to leave the hotel, the air-conditioned hotel.
I've been in hot weather like that. I've been in Vegas in the middle of summer where it's been like 110, 115.
Okay.
That's warm. Don't like it. You know, it gets up to summertime here gets up to about 100 degrees at times.
Wow.
You should get a couple of days a year in the hundreds or high 90s.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we get the full 4 seasons here.
Is it dry or humid when it's hot?
No, where I live is dry.
Okay.
Yeah. Just south of me, believe it or not, about an hour's drive, you're in the desert.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people don't think that British Columbia has a desert, but we actually have a very large desert here.
Is there cactus there?
There are cactuses. You know how you tell the male cactuses from the female cactuses, right?
No idea.
Cacticles.
Oh.
It's true.
Okay.
Let's talk some UFOs.
Okay.
Out of all the UFOs that are in that hot spot of Arizona, how many do you think are actually UFOs compared to how many are maybe some sort of government craft?
Right? I also want to know because I once saw a triangle, and I did not report it to MUFON because I'm like, I don't even know how I would like, what if they make me try to solve this, because I don't even know what is this. But yeah, it was interesting because I think it hung around in Tucson for like several nights, because I remember like a week later someone was in a parking lot of an EG's, which is a fast food chain kind of only in Tucson. And then they just filmed the triangle like over the restaurant, and then they tagged the restaurant on Instagram, and then EG's had a flavored drink the following week called Galactic Grape. And so like that kind of validated for me, like, okay, like I saw a triangle, he saw a triangle, like triangles now, I guess, trending in Tucson for this month. But then when you go to like Sedona and there's all kinds of different shapes and crafts, and then you learn about like the deep underground bases, like it's hard to like know, like, because I mean you can't like talk to it unless you're like really big into meditation and C5 and like really telepathic. Like you can't talk to what is flying above you. So how are you gonna know?
Oh, that's very true. That's very true. Tell us about the black triangle you witnessed.
Um it was interesting. So like at that time I worked right next to our Air Force base, and all day long I'm used to hearing like A-10s and other jets just flying by constantly, but like the activity kind of stops around 5 p.m. And then I drove home to like the north side of Tucson, far away from the base, and I remember like that evening, like I kept hearing the jets, and I was just like, that's weird. They must be doing like night exercises. And then around 8 p.m., I took my dog for another walk, and I saw like a really bright orb. It was like bright, like if you're looking at Jupiter, like it was really bright. And it kind of just like went in an arc and then went behind a tree. And I was like, that was too kind of sharp to be a satellite. And then I was trying to like get around the tree to see where it went, but then coming from the other direction, it was this triangle, and it was going, I guess, towards the base area. And I was really mad because of course I didn't have my phone. I left charging, and I was just like, no one's gonna believe me. And like I heard the jets, but I didn't know if they were chasing it or escorting it to the base. But I did not see the jets, but they were somewhere behind me. But like I just saw like this triangle and I kept going, and I was just like, do I run inside and get my phone or my night vision, or do I just watch it and wave goodbye?
So what'd you do?
I just watched it and waved goodbye. I kicked myself for like the remainder of the month for not having my phone.
How long did you actually get to view it?
Maybe like 20 seconds.
Was it your prototypical black triangle with the lights on every corner?
Yeah, I did not see any light in the center. It was just the three, and it was like a tight group, and it just went from northwest across town to southeast. Our base is like over there. And then that's kind of the same shape I saw in Denver.
Oh, you saw one in Denver too.
I did, and then I filmed that one, and that one is definitely under speculation of what it could be.
What do you think it is?
I thought it didn't react like, because some people think it was birds, but it didn't react like birds, because there was a green laser pointer that actually like shot it, and the laser kind of reflected off of it, like it was like if you had shined a laser at like a car light, how it's gonna bounce off all in there. And that's kind of how the laser reacted when it hit whatever it hit. And earlier laser was shined at a bird, and the bird did not like it, and the bird like panicked and like just flew all over trying to get away from the laser. But like these, like the two backlights of this triangle, like the light just bounced off of both of them, and nothing broke formation, and it just kind of just kept going west.
there's a lot of speculation of whether or not these black triangles are a mixture of ours and theirs, whoever they are.
True. Yeah.
Have you been able to look into that at all?
Um, the last Tucson MUFON director was trying to talk to me about some because she said that she used to see them all the time. She lived far on the west side of town where like there was not a lot of light pollution, and she had an acre and animals, so she was kind of always outside. And she said that she used to see them a lot. And then I guess I follow JP and Dr. Michael Sala, and JP just kind of did an interview where he said that he was invited to go on the triangle crafts, and he said that they were Nordic. So I don't know. There's just a lot of information out there.
I'm still baffled by that because I think it is a combination.
Mhm.
Where they park them, that's a different story. But what if they
Yeah.
don't land? There's another one.
Yeah. Like, do they even need to land, or just what if they just
Right.
go
That-
in
I
a
think
different
that-
dimension?
I think that's a big question. Do they even need to land?
Yeah. Not a lot of people. I haven't had a MUFON case where someone said that they saw a craft and they saw it land. Like, I've never heard of that for me.
What do you like about a good abduction story? What makes a good abduction story for you as a researcher?
The details, like the random, unique stuff. Like Melinda has a really good abduction story, how like 100 people were taken from Sedona one night, and then they were being tested for telekinesis, which is awesome. And then I heard another story of, it was like it was messing with her mind, and like she was driving all over the place, like looking for a highway because she pulled off for gas, and then she tried to like just get back on the highway to drive. And like either all of this driving was only happening in her mind, or like it was really like projecting like false roads and crazy stuff.
Out of all the UFO reports that you have looked into, how many of them have been unexplained compared to ones that could be?
I guess I would say if I've done 30, 5 or 6 of those cases were really bizarre and unexplainable.
And what made them unexplainable?
Like I guess like the weird stuff in it that I couldn't explain, like the fog, or the guy's car stopping just because the UFO came close to it, and then like spots developing on his face, and then or if a craft like doesn't go in a straight line, like if it goes all over the place and just disappears really fast. Like, I wish I could see that. Like, that's not something that a plane or a satellite can do. Either he's lying or he really saw it, and I can't explain that.
As you have, seen a lot of alien or talked to a lot of people who have had alien activity or seen UFOs, have you found any common patterns in what people are seeing?
No, but I have discovered something interesting with people who say that they have like an implant in them, because like sometimes, so like I bought a Geiger counter from China, and sometimes I bring it out to like Tucson MUFON meetings or the Tucson Paranormal Society meetings, and I say I use this to find implants in people, and then people like start lining up like do me, and like there was a woman who was like, there's something right here, and then like I scanned her, and then like the background radiation was like 0.12, and then like it jumps to 0.30 just in that spot where she said so, and I'm like, that is very strange. So like I did someone else, and there was something in her head, and it also made the Geiger counter jump. So I've noticed that like there's weirdness with the Geiger counting jumping, where people say that they feel like something's foreign in their body, right where they say it is.
Are a lot of the experiencers that you talk to multiple experiencers or just something that happened once?
Probably multiple times, yeah. Yeah, like one girl said that she just had it like since she could remember, since she was a little girl.
What do you think about when you hear somebody talk about that?
I guess like it's interesting, and like I would like to hear more, and then like it's kind of like not everything they remember all at once. Like little stuff will just like trickle in, like they'll see a commercial or go to a mall or something, and then like a memory comes back of, oh yeah, this happened once with me and my brother. Just I don't know, it'll trickle in. So like you kind of have to be like friends with them to like get more information, because you're definitely not going to get it all in one sitting.
Do you think though that the people who are being taken are being harassed by these, or are they being enlightened?
I kind of want to say more harassed, because I really haven't been around an enlightened person, which would be a fun change. But this one lady said that like she was taken again in her 50s, and she was angry, like, why are you still messing with me? Like, I don't have eggs anymore. I have nothing for you. And she was like, she said that she was yelling at them, which I'm like, that's very brave. But they said like, we want you for science. And then I don't know, that calmed her down, and she stopped yelling at them. And then she doesn't remember what happened afterwards.
Man, it's such a bizarre feeling for people who have been taken, because there is no control, and you've got like this split second verification in your mind of what happened,
Yeah.
and then it all tries to disappear all the time. You know,
True.
I mean, it's such a bizarre feeling, because you feel like you're left with like these holes, like it's not a complete sentence. You know, it's like reading a paragraph that's missing half of its words.
Yeah. Or like, I don't know, later in the day you try to remember a dream, and like you'll just see a flash of it, and you're like, damn, what was the rest of that? And like,
Right?
why did I randomly think of that?
What's the best alien encounter story you've heard?
I guess Melinda's, with like the 100 people, and then being tested for telekinesis, and then it was co-inhabited with little grays and human military.
Have you ever talked to any of those people who were involved on that?
It's kind of, well, I talked to one other girl, because Melinda was taken with her friend Jocelyn, and so like I talked to Jocelyn about it, and they actually left a crop circle in her backyard because she asked them to, and so they did, and nothing grew back in that area for years. But she did find another guy on one of her tours who was like, you look really familiar, please have lunch with me sometime later. And then when they finally did, they realized that they were both on that same tour that was abducted that one night, I think in 2011.
That's just insane.
Yeah. But then they were all like given something to drink when they were done, and so like I think the point of that was so they didn't remember what happened.
Why do you think the aliens wipe our memories from these experiences?
Either so we don't complain, or maybe they think it will bother us too much and they don't want to disturb us that greatly. Because like if we're all getting taken, we all remember, we would all like start talking together, and then all come to the conclusion that there's a problem, like an ET abducting problem. And then we might find something to do about that.
Yeah, it is kind of insane when you get a bunch of people out there who have been taken around the same time. I mean, that's just eerie as can be,
Hmm.
completely eerie as could be. You know, you have to wonder what is the purpose? I mean, is it just hybridization? Is it DNA samples? Is it whatever? I mean, that's just it's crazy.
Hmm. I think hybridization.
I'm not sure. I really don't know.
Hmm.
I really don't know. We got about 3.5 minutes before we have to go to break here at the bottom of the hour. Karen Hill from Tucson MUFON is our guest tonight on Spaced Out Radio. Karen, as we kind of push through here, you know, UFOs has been on the topic of is a topic on a lot of people's minds going through the last few years because of the whole disclosure push, what we see on mainstream television and a lot of people looking it up and supporting YouTube channels that kind of give off this type of content. You know, what do you think about the new publicity of UFOs being more of a, you know, it's not a full mainstream topic just yet, but it sure as heck seems to be getting there.
Um, like I've wondered that, like, is this like controlled? Like, are we coming closer and closer to disclosure where like it's not so abrupt? Like, let's just have it seep in more on social media and news and other platforms, or is it something else? Like something what natural,
Right?
organic? That was the word. Yeah.
Organic's a good word. It really
Hmm.
is. I'm wondering if you have to really kind of push towards, you know, what people really believe is going to happen with that. In your opinion, what is disclosure?
Um, I mean, I feel like disclosure already happened, and it would, I guess, happen again faster through us and everyone who has had something happen to them faster than like our government talking about it on mainstream news. And like, we shouldn't wait for them to do it. Like, we should just do it ourselves.
Why don't you think we need the government to do it if they have all the secrets?
I mean, I've heard that they do have high resolution photos and videos of crafts, and I mean, and now in the age of AI, like, would we really believe what they showed us anyway?
Do you think AI is going to ruin videography of these?
Yes, I feel like it's already has. Like in AI, like it gets better every 3 months, and like even I've been fooled. Like at the beginning, like nope, that person has six fingers, but now it's getting better. And the videos, it's like after watching the whole video like several times, like you see like a little thing, and you're like, oh, this is all AI. Like I didn't know that at first. Like it looked like today I saw one that looked like a bad cell phone took a grainy picture of or video of a guy jumping off his roof onto a trampoline and doing a bunch of flips when he got to the ground, and then everyone in the comments was like, this is AI because of how he bounced on the ground. And like, because it was so grainy for me, I immediately thought, okay, this is real.
Yeah, it's going to become more problematic going forward. I mean, and it's not just in the UFO world. I think we're going to see it in the
Yeah.
Bigfoot world. I think we're going to see it in the
In the
paranormal
ghost
world.
world.
Anything
Yeah,
weird and strange, we're going to see it.
absolutely. Yeah.
I'm going to get you to hold on right there because we are going to go to break here at the bottom of the hour. Karen Hill from Tucson MUFON is our guest tonight on Spaced Out Radio. We have her till the top of the hour talking UFOs.
You're listening to Spaced Out Radio with your host, Dave Scott.
All right, we are clear. Cruising, Karen. Cruising. You're doing great. Hold on. Did I mute you? Hold on. I muted you.
Yeah.
That's my bad.
Okay.
I'm just going to sneak to the left here to open up my window.
Okay. Thanks, Tim.
Right like that. Oh. I'm having an I feel old day today.
How so?
Oh, everything hurts.
Oh, could it be the weather?
No,
Change the weather.
no. I don't know what it is. Questions for Karen going into the final half hour. We're going to open this up to our entire YouTube audience. Make sure you do.
I guess I'm looking for speakers for Tucson MUFON. So if anyone is like a good speaker, they should contact me. Or has good content that would be interesting that people would want to hear. Like I would want to hear from you.
Can I come? Can I come?
Yes. Well, yes. When are you available?
I thought we were going to talk like June or July.
I'm good with that time.
Yeah. Can I come? Can I come?
Yes. Yes, please.
Okay. I will be there for you.
Cool.
509er, how are you? Terry Hall in your gorgeous mustache. Did you read my email, my friend? Listening in the background, number 1, Nicole Sakic. Hanging on out. Yeah, Karen's doing great tonight. She is. We got like 2 minutes.
I'm slowly reading the chats.
Walter, grow your beard. Grow the beard, Walter. You don't have to shave every day. Terry Hall, did you read my email? Yes, no? 90 seconds.
By the way, I have a lot of birds that people have taken pictures of that they thought were UFOs, and I feel like making a calendar of birds who look like UFOs.
Let's talk about that.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Oh, the office is cooling off nicely in here. Nanzi, welcome to SOR chat. Put your questions in capital letters, people, because my eyes suck. Are you Yeti? If you shave your goatee, you're not allowed here anymore. You keep that chin blade going, man. Thank you tonight to Pam Harris, Deborah Rooney, Alaska's greatest athlete, Ben O ×2, and Lightwalkers for getting the membership on our YouTube channel. Thank you very, very much. Here we go. Here we go with the second half of Spaced Out Radio. My name is Dave Scott. Thank you very much for tuning us on in wherever you are on this beautiful planet we call Earth. Reminder to all of you that if you miss portions of this show or others, our archives are always free on YouTube or any major podcast network. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire, check our swag as well. Follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. Here we go. Final time tonight. Karen Hill. She is a director for Tucson MUFON, hanging on out, checking out the UFO stories. Now, you get a lot of photos from people claiming that they've got pictures of UFOs, but when you zoom on in, they're not UFOs at all, are they?
Correct.
What are you getting?
I have one actually ready. So like this person thought that was a UFO, but when I zoom in, like you could see the beak, you can see the feathers, you can see like the shoulder and the belly, and like you see how it's like it's darker than the hot air balloons in the background, and so that also is telling of distance. And this lady was upset that it was not a UFO. I do run into people who are really upset that their evidence, whatever they have, is not a UFO. That's kind of scary.
That is kind of scary.
Yeah.
But I guess, though, you know, for the untrained eye, they're just excited to see something. And of course, they're going to get a little upset when you're breaking their heart.
Yeah. I had another guy who sent me a picture of a lot of black things like in the sky up here. And I was like, that's weird. And why are there so many of them? And then I noticed, like, he took a picture of the sunset. And then I noticed, like, on the bottom part where it was just land, there was a bunch of white things speckled everywhere. And I was just like, oh, it's raining. So, like, the lights up, the black things up here are water reflecting the earth down below. And then the ones below are reflecting off the sky. So that's why these are dark and these are light. And I was just like, sir, it's raining. And he's like, I swear to God, it was not raining. And I'm like, I understand that you didn't know it was raining, but it's clearly raining for the picture. Like a sprinkle, a light sprinkle.
You get enough of those photos, you might be able to make a calendar.
Yeah. Or at least a mouse pad. But yeah.
But you can't blame the people.
No.
They're doing the right thing. They took a how can we put it? You know, a sighting that they think is something special.
Yeah, a valiant effort.
You know, I mean, you got to give them that A for effort. Can we do that at least?
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's get to some audience questions here. Let's start off with David here, who is asking, Karen, I'm in Arizona as well. Does Tucson MUFON ever have conferences that are open to the public?
Yes. So like Sedona, Phoenix, and Tucson, like we both have monthly members or monthly meetings once a month. And except for Phoenix, they're in like a weird hiatus right now. So like their venue got rained out and it needs work. But Tucson, we have a meeting once a month since mid 2023. But our next one is January 24th with John D'Souza, and then February 21st with Brad Olson.
How many people usually show up for these?
40, 45. Mid-40s.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
So what does it entail? Let's say if I wanted to beg you to allow me to come down there and speak.
Mm-hmm. Well, I would get you here. And then it's a 2-hour lecture, and we have a break in the middle. with like raffle and stuff, and I bring free cookies and water because you're not allowed to bring food or water into my venue, which is the Elks Lodge. But so you can talk for like an hour or 50 minutes, and then we'll have like a 10-minute break, and then you talk for the remainder, like another 50 or an hour, and then it's usually noon to 2. No one has a problem with that. And then afterwards we go to lunch, and then I pay for the speaker's lunch.
Nice. And like, is there usually a meetup that night or anything like that for people to attend?
A few times we have done a CE5 that night or like a Skywatch, but usually it's just one or the other, because like I have to wake up early, and like I have to set up, like I have projector screens, I have projectors, there's tables, there's like everything needs to get set up in like the 45 minutes before noon, and then the 2 hours, and then lunch, and like after all of that it's like close to 5 p.m. And then like if we immediately go into another like a Skywatch or a CE5, like I'm gonna get home like around 11. I'm gonna be exhausted.
That does get tiring.
Yes.
It does get tiring. Let's get to another question here from our audience. Let's go to Ange in Australia, who is asking, have reports concerning orbs had what seem to be faces or beings in them?
Not yet. Like the ones in Tucson are like so far away. There's almost nothing there's nothing structurally about it. It's just an orb. But I'm sure the ones that people see up close kind of have features to them. I haven't seen any personally, which I guess I'm thankful for, because that would really freak me out.
Yeah, I mean, it's so tough with these orbs. I mean, some people see faces in them, and some of those faces are clear as day. It's
Yeah,
so weird.
I did do a small lecture on lens flares and UFOs, and how to just look at a photo and then figure out the easiest way if it's a lens flare or not.
Let's move on to another question from our audience. Let's go to Nanzi. How do you verify photos that people have taken?
Verify in what way? Like if it's actually their photo, or if it's AI,
If it's a
or
UFO or not?
I mean, if it's like a photo, and if it's like 50-50, like maybe I have an idea of what it is. We have a photo analyst, and like the safest bet is to just send it to him and be like, what do you think? Like I do that with like my birds, just to get a second opinion, and then the rain one definitely. And then like our photo analysis has been working with MUFON for probably 10 years or more, and he's really good. So I leave like the hard things for him to figure out for me. And then
Mark Antonio?
he knows how to do like figure out all like the metadata and the back data in photographs. So I hope he teaches me one day.
Is that Mark D'Antonio?
No, it's Dennis. His name is Dennis.
Oh, cool. Cool. Mark D'Antonio is so good.
He does work too. I feel like he's way more busy because everyone wants his attention. And plus he's like, I got telescopes I gotta play with.
He's a busy guy, that's for sure. Mark D'Antonio is like the photographic expert for MUFON. It's pretty incredible with what he does. Let's move on to another question here. Let us go next to, well, let's check it on out. Sweet Tony D in the UK. Karen, what is your funniest experience since being a researcher?
I guess for me, it's the birds, because I guess I kind of get excited every time I see another sneaky bird that is pretending to be a UFO. Like that I guess tickles me inside. It's like, I know you sneaky birds. But I can't think of anything that was like funny other than people really thinking their photo was like evidence of a UFO, and it's a hard not.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I think the funniest one that I've seen or had happen was at Flight 21 when we heard whatever that was breaking wind in the trees. That was hilarious.
That's interesting.
I just remember looking at Tim saying, "Are you kidding me right now?" That was just, it was hilarious.
UFO fart might be a good password for somebody.
Yeah, it could be. If you record a UFO ripping butt, let us know. We search for the hardcore news here. That's what we do. We search for the hardcore. Let's go to another one here. Go to Amy. A comment, not a question. Went to one MUFON meeting and was blown away. Military folks relating their stories, Travis Walton and all of that. I mean, you've had some pretty impressive people speak at your events that you put on. Who are some of the names in the UFO world that have spoken with you?
Nick Pope and William Henry, who are both on Ancient Aliens, and then Jerry Wills and Tony Rodriguez, Melinda Leslie, Lorian Fenton, Jurgen, Ella LeBain. They all signed this, so I'm reading it. Oh, UAPD, they're fun people. You know of them?
Definitely do.
Yeah. And oh damn, it popped out of me. I did have like a QHHT lady, and then her client who like her client is constantly visited by ETs, but like it was interesting because the neighbors are now invested, because whenever he's taken, there's a blue orb above his house. And once he went to Germany for like months, and he didn't say anything when he came back, but his neighbor called him and he said, "Hey, are you back yet?" And he said, "Yeah, how do you know?" And he said, "Because the blue orb is back."
So it was like that blue orb was attracted to this person.
Yeah, just like, I guess, parked outside of when it was doing whatever.
My goodness. It kind of makes you wonder if they are sensing or put like a tag or some sort of implant in that person to know when that orb could come back.
It was weirder than that. Like, this person in his previous life was a ET, and there was a violent issue that happened, and they needed to save his life. And so they're like, let's just put you down in a womb on planet Earth, and then we'll just keep tabs on you that way.
All right. Ready for another one?
Yeah.
Let's go to Paramarv. Have you or anyone you work with ever been encouraged to stop looking into a specific case or UFOs in general?
No, but I did have I had Michael Horn talk, and I had like an email saying like, you can't have him talk. And I'm like, why? And even Michael Horn was like, when I asked him to talk, he was like, "Why do you want me to talk?" I'm like, "Because I just saw a documentary and your name popped up, and you live in Arizona, so I want you." And he was like, "MUFON doesn't like me." And I'm like, "I don't know this background story, but just come on down. Like, I want you." And then like would get emails of like, "You can't have him." And I'm like, "I don't know why yet, so I'm just gonna have him and find out." And it was like a great lecture. Like, everyone liked it. And we went out to lunch, and there was a lot of people who came out to lunch with us, and it was like a fun, great time. And then I encouraged Phoenix and Sedona MUFON to also have him, and I think Sedona had him talk.
Very cool. Very, very cool. Let's go to Nathan here. What are your views on people being non-human in past lives?
Totally possible. I don't know how, I don't know why, but I mean, I'm not closed-minded to that.
We have Karen Hill here until the top of the hour. She's from Tucson MUFON on Spaced Out Radio. Karen, the whole idea that there is this high strangeness, where is your favorite place to go investigate?
I mean, I love Arizona, so like Arizona is definitely a playground for paranormal. So like if it's related to Arizona, like I really want to know. And in Sierra Vista in May, I'm supposed to give a lecture at a paranormal conference about, or a supernatural conference about a crystal orb that was found in the Bermuda Triangle, and it's found its way into Arizona and lived here for like 50 years. And everyone who encountered this orb or this crystal ball, like something happened to them. And like a few people, like when they touched it, like they passed out, and like everyone who touched it like felt like it was alive and like sending off electricity, and everyone was like, holy crap, what is this? It's missing right now, but I really want to find it. But like Indiana Jones movies were like my favorite movies, so like anything involving treasure hunting, like I'm on it. And like so like stuff like that, if I can incorporate like paranormal with like treasure hunting, like that's my zone.
Have you ever had any cases where UFOs and ghosts or UFOs and cryptids have tied into together?
I want to say yes, but nothing is really coming to mind right now. Like, I guess when I saw that thing on my TV screen, like, I didn't know what it was. Like, was it a ghost? Was it an alien? I don't know.
It is kind of one of those things where you just want to see that multiple action. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's so much more cool when all of a sudden you're like, oh, look, there's a Bigfoot behind us, and then you look up in the sky and there's a UFO as well.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a rarity, but it is kind of cool when it happens.
Right. Like if you're hiking and then Bigfoot's like, hey, I want to show you something. And then he points you to a ghost, and then you're like, and then a UFO comes and abducts it. And he's like, that's all I wanted to show you. Okay, bye.
Why do you think so much of this is just fleeting experiences?
Fleeting?
Yes.
I don't know. That's a good question. I never really like thought of that. I don't know. That's probably a terrible answer.
I mean, I know it's a hard question. Okay, but for most of us who have these experiences, it only really lasts a matter of mere seconds. You know, and this is where the skeptics kind of jump on us and say, hey, like, why didn't you take your phone out? You got a phone on your camera. Why didn't you take a picture? Why didn't you take a video? You know, it's like, man, it was there for like 1 second and then it was gone. But I know what I saw.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like I know some like a lot of people see UFO and like they don't pull out their camera or their phone, and then they're like, why didn't I do it? And they're like, it literally did not pop in my mind to do that. And then I heard of someone who like they saw something weird and they were trying to grab their camera, and like their hand was malfunctioning and they couldn't get a solid hold on it, and they gave it like solid minutes of trying, and then they gave up. And I think it was just like the UFO was like, you're not going to take my picture today.
Yeah, they're not really camera friendly, are they?
No, but I have a weird thought about that. So like the famous like Bigfoot video was filmed on like a really old camera, and a lot of the newer stuff, like the current pictures on like our newer cameras are all like bad. And I'm wondering like if there is something in the digital cameras that is a deterrent for capturing like this paranormal activity. And like, what if we went back to the old cameras? Like, could we capture something?
That I have heard too. You know, when you go back to actual film.
Yeah.
You know,
and like when people go out and like look for Bigfoot, and like they set out those like trail cameras with like the IR light, like at night, that's like I swear like Bigfoot has to have different cones and rods in their eyes, and like I feel like Bigfoot would see it as like a giant like floodlight torch just in the middle of their forest, and like they see that and they're like, I'm not going over there just because there's just a light that's constantly on. Like, I'm gonna avoid that area now.
Yeah, that is one of the things that we worried about at Flight 21 was how would they react to us putting out a trail cam? And unfortunately, we kind of ran out of time with that, but it is something that we are going to
Yeah.
intensify next
Mhm.
year, or I shouldn't say next year because it's already this year when we start going back in spring. We're going to have to kind of rebuild that trust, rebuild absolutely everything that we
Mhm.
built last year. But we also have to be able to take that next step and be a little bit more aggressive with what we are doing as well.
Yeah.
Question coming in from Karen. Have you been to the Kingman site? What have you researched about that event?
Karen, what Kingman site?
Kingman UFO site crash.
Do you know about it? I don't.
Yeah.
Well, what is it?
Let's find out.
Okay.
When did it happen? Let me think here for a second.
Come on, Karen.
1953. May of 1953. I believe that was Lonnie. Oh, what's his name? Lonnie. I'm going to butcher the last name there. But yeah, it was believed that a UFO crashed. There's actually a sign out there that says where it crashed
That's
in
cool. We'll
the
have to go there with Karen and we'll figure it out.
Tualape Mountains. Now, Kingman's in the north, I believe, more towards close to the Nevada
I think it's
border.
like on the border, maybe?
Yeah.
Between, yeah.
Yeah. I know Nicole Sackett has been bugging me that when we're in Vegas next time that we have to travel out there in order to go see it, rent a vehicle and go travel out there. That'll be good. We have about 90 seconds left with you tonight. How's that for
They like
flying
it.
on by?
What?
That's been a lot of fun with you tonight, Karen.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I
Ditto.
hope you had some fun too.
Mm-hmm.
Good.
Good. Yeah.
As we start to wind things down, I want to say a big thank you for coming on Spaced Out Radio. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you here. And I know you've been listening for a long time, and our radio audience can't see this, but we can on YouTube, where Karen actually printed out one of our logos and stuck it on her wall. And I got to say a big thank you for that, because that is truly amazing that you did that for me. And thank you very much.
Mm-hmm. It was a pleasure. And in March, I can give it to you. It's a giant sticker, literally.
As long as you sign it.
Okay.
That'll work for me. As long as you sign it.
Okay.
Tell everybody where they can find more about Tucson MUFON.
Definitely TucsonMUFON.com, and then Facebook, Tucson MUFON, and Instagram, Tucson MUFON.
It's nice and simple. It really is.
Mm-hmm.
Karen, big thank you once again. Thank you for also being a lovely supporter of this show, and all the best to you. And let's talk about Arizona sometime soon.
Okay,
Dave
sounds
would like
great.
to travel there. Yes. Coming up next on Spaced Out Radio, we have Swamp Dweller to kick things off. Then the Wizard is going to be in for a hasty UFO report.
You're listening to Spaced Out Radio with your host, Dave Scott.
You were great, Karen.
Thanks.
Thank you, buddy.
Mm-hmm.
That was a lot of fun. Tucson MUFON, everybody. Tucson MUFON. Much love, my friend. And
thank you.
Let's talk soon, okay? You're
absolutely.
wonderful.
I'll see you in March.
Yeah, you will. Remember, you got to do lunch. I'll make
Okay.
sure that Lorian makes time for you and I to do lunch.
Okay, dope.
All right.
I'm
See you
I'm
soon.
in. Okay. Take care.
Bye-bye. Karen Hill, everybody. Love her. Absolutely love her. Be right back. I'm going to stand in the snow. Hold on a second here. There we go. Don't look at my butt. Don't look at my butt. There we go. No looking at my butt. All right, let's bring in the wizard. There he is.
There I is.
I got you a little present.
Oh, yeah?
It won't make it to you, though.
Oh, okay.
Brought you a little snowball.
Oh, you could pack it in dry ice.
I could.
It was. I know how much you all like hearing about me complaining about how cold it is in Arizona. So
It's actually not that bad out. It's only -7. The wind's not blowing, so that's good. Quickly here, thank you to Pam, Deborah Rooney, Benno ×2, and Alaska's greatest athlete for our super chats. Lightwalkers, thank you for joining our YouTube membership. We greatly appreciate it. We're coming back here in about 5 seconds, everybody. Here we go on Spaced Out Radio's hour number 3. My name is Dave Scott. We got Swamp Dweller, and we have the Wizard coming up with the UFO report here momentarily. But first, we want to say hello to all of you listening in on our terrestrial affiliates around North America, digitally on every major podcast network. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire, check out our swag as well. Follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram, Instagram on Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. Sacramentarianism is your password. Use it wisely, Space Travelers, as the Clam sets the password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. Let's head to the swamp.
Hello and welcome to Spaced Out Radio's Swamp. I'm Swamp Dweller, and tonight I'm going to take you on a mystic journey of the unknown, sharing tales of monsters, legends, and nightmares. Welcome to the Spaced Out Radio Swamp. I lived in the mountains of New Mexico, so there was almost never any people, so it was very quiet. This happened around when I was 8, but I remember it very well. We lived on a lot of land, so I would run and find this old stuff. And one afternoon, I wandered around this large rock. The sun was setting, but I was so drawn to this little mini cave I found. I was losing daylight, but I continued my search. Now, I should tell you, I was a very small 8-year-old girl, almost frail. As I climbed in, it was much bigger than it appeared. I wasn't all the way in, I was just at the entrance, but that was enough for me to see a deer, 2 rabbits, and this water-like liquid all over the wall. I just figured they fell in, but how could they? I could barely fit in. I sat there for a while, dumbfounded, just staring at this thing, trying to observe anything I could of this cave. On the other side was another entrance, but it was blacked out, with what looked like a small childlike body, but too skinny, with gray skin. It looked like the skin was also splitting. It almost looked like it had black blood oozing out of it. It only dressed with animal skin. I started to try and leave, but then suddenly, it started to rip something. I was trembling. I could hear this thing ripping apart what sounded like an animal. Terrified, but I just couldn't help but look. It just somehow commanded my attention. Blood was being splattered as it ripped apart the animal. With the last bit of daylight, I saw its eyeless socket and one bright orange, almost brown eye, and large animal-like ears, and long, skinny claws emerged from the animal's flesh. It scrambled out and ran back home. I looked back, but the cave was covered with the rocks, but I continued running. When I got home, I didn't tell my mom or my dad, thinking they wouldn't believe me. I live in Colorado now, and I miss the mountains, but not the ones in New Mexico. I still remember the gray skin, the orange eye. But note this, I'm half Native American, so that leaves a few things that this thing could have been. Some people are under the assumption it was a skinwalker. Me, I'm not entirely sure. Maybe somebody in the comments will let me know. I know my story was kind of short, but thank you for sharing it anyway, Swamp.
Thank you, Swamp Dweller, for another spooky story. If you want more just like that, head on over to YouTube, type in Swamp Dweller, hit subscribe, ring that bell, and we could get right to it. You could hear thousands of stories just like that. All you got to do is hit the play button, and Swampy will take care of you. From the swamp to the stars, the wizard is back for the UFO report.
The UFO wizard makes his presence known. Just ready to go.
The wizard, Josh Rutledge, welcome back to Spaced Out Radio. How you doing, my friend?
I am doing fantastic, Dave. Happy to be here. Yeah.
Man, all of a sudden, out of nowhere, the UFO story picked up with some very controversial stories on the last 48 hours.
Yeah, there's been some drama. Lots of drama. And also some what some people might call grift. I don't know. We'll see. See what the community thinks.
Where do you want to start it off? Do we go with Lou Elizondo? Do we go with David Grush? Do we go elsewhere? Where do you want to hit first?
Let's do Lou's book.
Right.
So,
tell us about it.
Yeah. So Lou Elizondo announced or put out that he has a new book that will be coming out later this year, August 27, 2026. The title of the book is What is Reckoning? The Unspoken Truth About UFOs and the Urgency of Now, which I have to be honest, sounds like an AI title. But anyways, the about section on the publisher's website for the book says that a former Pentagon insider reveals the hidden truth behind UFOs and why humanity can no longer afford to look away. For decades, governments have concealed the truth about unidentified anomalous phenomenon, UAPs, but now the silence is cracking and the consequences of secrecy are becoming impossible to ignore. In Reckoning, Louis Elizondo, former head of the Pentagon's secretive UFO program, delivers an urgent wake-up call. UAPs are real. The evidence is undeniable, and our future depends on how we respond. Drawing on previously undisclosed evidence, global history, and groundbreaking science, Elizondo reveals why this is not just about strange lights in the sky. It's about technology, security, faith, and the very identity of humankind. This is the pivotal moment. We will evolve into a species ready to face the truth or retreat into denial.
Well, that's going to be awesome. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to get a copy.
Yeah, I got a copy of his last book. So,
last one.
The part that I guess I don't know, just the way that the about section reads is that is he just going to talk about all the stuff that has been said since his last book, like all the new, testimony and things that have come out in his loose spin, so to speak, but provide no, really new information or details? Or if he does provide new information and details, should we assume that just like his first book, he got all of that approved by the DoD, and so therefore, it's like I've talked about before, is it possible it's soft disclosure? They're using Lou and Grush and everybody else to disclose the information without the government officially saying any of this stuff.
That's a good possibility. And the question is, what can Elizondo bring that's new? I mean, the last book, Imminent, was much like a autobiography for him. It was him telling his story. So the fact that there is a follow-up is not surprising. Do you think the pressure's on him to actually bring some information rather than just, his own story on who he is and how he became the UFOs are?
Yeah, I think, like you said, we got some really interesting information about Lou and his history and some of the more, woo aspects of the things that he was involved in with like remote viewing and stuff like that, and his own personal experiences with, blue and orange orbs that were in his house and on his property. So I think, like you said, it was, the first book was, here's who I am, and here's all of my experiences, which, as experiencers ourselves, that's generally what we lead with when we meet other people in the community. Well, here's an example of this crazy thing that had happened to me, right? Even tonight with Karen, that was a couple of times when I tuned in, you were talking about your experiences with Flight 21. So I think that, the first book was Lou's attempt to ground himself in the community as being, quote unquote, one of us. So the second book I would expect would be, hey, I've already told you who I am. Now let me tell you what I know. The problem that I see, though, is that Lou's been out of the game now for 8 years, 9 years. Does he really know anything that he hasn't previously shared? Or, is he actually approved to say any of the things that he knows that he hasn't previously shared?
Well, we can assume that he still has his top secret clearance because he has had a number of government contracting jobs since leaving the TTSA and kind of getting back into the fold. I think that there is a push to try and have him, deliver some of the UFO news, but from who or what? Because we also have to look at this with an open mind. Allegedly, there are two sides to ufology. There are the people who want to disclose, and there are the people who have no desire to tell us what's going on, what they have, for whatever various reason it may be. Then we have people like Elizondo who do want disclosure, but it's more of a controlled disclosure. It's more about, let's give the public something. Let's try and confirm that this is here, but we don't have to tell them that we have craft. We don't have to tell them that we know people are being abducted. We don't have to tell them all the things that we've learned through 50 years of true hardcore study on this program. So there are a number of ways to take this. Is Elizondo still a prominent figure in the community? I would say that he's very polarizing. Okay. There is no in between with Elizondo. You either love him or you think he's an absurd grifter of the topic, and that there doesn't seem to be any real in between on that. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I would agree. And I think, some of the mistakes that he's made with, his evidence that he's presented in very public forums, last year, has only hurt his credibility to the point where I think for, the people who are not fans of his, likely won't read his book, or they'll read it and pick it apart and make all kinds of videos about all the things that must be false within it. And that's, we've talked about this before too, is that at the, Lou wears, I would say 3 hats in the UFO community. He wears the hat of running ATIP. He wears the hat of being a former, intelligence operative within the U.S. government, but he also wears the hat of an experiencer. And unfortunately for our community, we tend to, when people come forward that have any type of role in the government, even if they're an experiencer, we tend to forget that part of their story and only look at them through the very narrow, lens of what can they tell me about what the government knows about UFOs. So I think while Lou probably knows some stuff as it relates to the ATIP program he did in the government, he probably also knows some stuff about his own experiences and people whom he's met and connected with since, the story broke in 2017. So will we get the book that is Lou's accounts from the government, or will we get the book that is Lou's accounts and experiences for the last 8 years? But I agree that regardless of which side we get, and regardless of how people might feel about Lou, I think you're right in that he's a bedrock individual of the UAP disclosure initiative. But I also think you're right that people are either for or against. There's no middle ground where like, well, I agree with him here, but I don't know if I agree with him here. It's a on or off situation.
Where do you stand with him?
Like the poster in Fox Mulder's office, I want to believe. I recently watched an interview, and I can't remember for the life of me who or it wasn't an interview, it was a YouTube video, and I can't remember who it was that did the video. But they basically laid out the possibility that ATIP was created to serve as a backstory for Lou for the purposes of To the Stars Academy, to give him instant credibility with To the Stars Academy. So it was almost like a fabrication, is what this video was expressing. So in that, it's plausible, let's say. I don't know that I believe that to be true, but it's plausible. And so because of that, and other things that people have brought up about some inconsistencies in his information and his background and things like that. And the fact that, in his book, he talks about seemingly almost in a proud way about being, the Guantanamo czar and all of that kind of stuff. So it's just, I don't know. It's really hard for me to get a read on him. On the one hand, when he talks, he seems earnest. But then people point out holes in his story or holes in his, evidence or whatever the case may be. And then it brings into question, is he, I guess the question is for me, is he purposefully, obfuscating details and information, or, is he a victim of some psyop that he is unaware of?
I think that he is fully aware of everything that he does. I think he's smart enough to be that guy, if that makes sense.
Yep.
Okay. I don't think that, he is, I don't think he's fully in control of what he can and cannot do when it comes to this subject. Okay. I think that, we have to remember, okay, this is a guy who, lack of a better term, bragged in the book Imminent how he loved being called Darth Vader of the United States, how he loved being known as the torture czar of Guantanamo Bay. He is a psyop on his own.
Yeah.
Right. And, he's a guy who knows things and has seen things that would probably give the rest of us nightmares.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And he did it for love, God, and country. And, that was his job. And he fulfilled his duties for his job. Whether we like it or hate it, that doesn't matter. Okay. I believe there are a lot of stains on him from the UFO community. The two photos of the unidentified lighting phenomena and the unidentified irrigation phenomena are going to haunt him for a long time.
Yeah.
And I'm curious to see how the publishers will bring him out as well for book number 2, because their PR work last year for Imminent was an absolute nightmare. They were screwing people left, right, and center with interviews, us included. And I'm still holding a little bit of a grudge with HarperCollins over that. But I'm like you, I want to believe Lou Elizondo. I want to believe that he has the public's best interest at heart. But I also have to remember in the back of my mind, that even a vicious, violent dog is still nice and polite and cuddly every now and again.
Well, and I think also for me, there are many stories of people who, in fact, I'm working. It's like a big part of a theory that I have around why we have experiences with the phenomenon. And I'm working on a book that talks about it. I guess now I'm the grift. But it is people will be living their life in one way, have an experience with the phenomena, and then it radically changes the way they view everything, the world, their place in the world, family, friends, etc. And they quite literally have a change of heart, and start acting differently, thinking differently, etc. So is it possible that Lou was the torture czar? Then he had an experience that he couldn't explain, and he started to change who he is and how he thinks about things. I think it's possible as well.
Yeah, I believe you. I believe it's totally possible. But the question is, which Lou Elizondo is going to come out and play?
Well, and that's the thing that I was talking about before. That I think that the UFO community wants the Lou Elizondo that was, that ran ATIP supposedly. But I don't think I don't know that there's two sides of Lou anymore. I think that there's just the old Lou and the new Lou. And the new Lou appears to be the Lou that really wants to be active participation in the UFO community. But the community, I think, wants the old Lou for whatever reason.
Yeah, there's a lot of people out there who haven't moved on with how this story has really been taken over by government and agency hands. It's not the old school individualistic amateur researchers that are taking care of pushing the story forward. The people who were originally called conspiracy theorists. We'll continue that conversation and more when we return on Spaced Out Radio. We'll be right back.
This is Spaced Out Radio. Your host, Dave Scott.
All right, we are clear, buddy.
Cuckoo, cuckoo. Hey, so I was you're talking about putting a what's it called, trail cam out Flight 21 whenever the weather improves.
Yeah.
I wonder if, like, I've had stuff happen in my house before. To the point where, like, I set up a camera to try to catch it, but then it doesn't happen. And I got to thinking about, if it's possible that, whatever it is can maybe see the IR light on, security cameras, which means they would also be able to see IR light on trail cameras. But if instead you put out a low light, like all sky type camera that just snaps low light pictures, but there's no IR aspect of the camera, then you might actually catch something because it potentially won't know that it's being photographed.
That would be interesting.
So, like this guy right here, that's what this is. Inside of here is an Astro camera,
right?
A Raspberry Pi, and then it just has a lens on it that allows you to take photos.
Where'd you get that?
I built it.
Of course you did. Of course you did. And when are you sending me one?
If you get if you buy all the parts and send it to me, I'll build it.
Do that.
Program it.
How much did that cost you?
I think the camera was like $3 something, and the Raspberry Pi is like, with all the stuff, is like $100. So
that's not too bad.
And then the enclosure was like I don't know, like $10 or something like that on Amazon. So
and we can talk about that.
Yeah,
for sure.
I'm going to be taking it up to South Mountain here in Phoenix on Saturday.
Well, that's nice.
Going to let it snap away, see what I get.
What's your bedtime snack?
My bedtime snack? I don't have a bedtime snack.
You don't have a bedtime? You know what I like? And I'll blame Nicole Sackage for this. After each show, I go upstairs and I take a tablespoon and I scoop peanut butter and eat peanut butter. Sometimes I even include some strawberry jam. No bread, no nothing. It's right on a spoon.
I generally try to not stay up more than like 10 minutes after we wrap. So because of that, I don't really have a bedtime snack. On nights that we're not recording, I might sometimes have like a small bowl of ice cream, or I really love chocolate no bake oatmeal cookies. That's like my favorite kind of cookie. You ever had those? Have you ever know what I'm talking about?
Chocolate oatmeal?
Chocolate no bake oatmeal cookies.
No.
So it is the ingredients are a crap ton of sugar, oats, peanut butter, cocoa, milk, and butter. And basically you heat up your milk, your butter first. Once that's broken all down, you add in your sugar, your cocoa, and your vanilla. Once that's all kind of constituted, you bring it to a boil. And once it's brought to a boil, you turn off the heat. You put in your peanut butter. Your peanut butter then melts into all of that stuff. And then in a big bowl, you combine it all with like 3 cups of oats. And then you drop it all out on like a cookie sheet or whatever. And you just let it like cool down until it solidifies. And no bake chocolate, no bake oatmeal cookie. Once you have one, Dave, you'll never go back.
Oh, now I'm going to have to try that. We're coming back in 10 seconds. Thank you to our super channelers, Benno times 2, Alaska's greatest athlete, Deb, and Pam. Final half hour of Spaced Out Radio is now underway. Good to have you with us. My name is Dave Scott. We appreciate you tuning us on in wherever you are on this beautiful planet we call Earth. We're going to get to Josh Rutledge, the UFO wizard, in just a second. We want to remind you that our website, spacedoutradio.com. If you wanted to download this show, you can for free on every major podcast network and on YouTube. Here we go. Josh Rutledge, the wizard. Right before the break, we were talking about Lou Elizondo. I think we're pretty much finished with that topic, but I do want to get to a lot of controversy regarding David Grush. Some people call him the original whistleblower on the UFO community, that he is someone who is pushing to get the UFO/UAP story out there. You know, when he first came out, people were absolutely wide-eyed at some of the claims that he made, especially in front of Congress. And then he went silent to the UFO media. He only worked interviews with mainstream media and Jesse Michaels on YouTube. And from there, he vanished. Then he shows up working as an advisor to the Conspiracy Club and I believe Congressman Burleson.
Mm-hmm.
And now all of a sudden he's out and about again. What's going on here? Fill us in, Josh.
Yeah. So he recently did an interview with Megyn Kelly, and in that interview he kind of said a number of things, but like, for example, he said that the late Dick Cheney was, and these are Grush's terms, the Darth Vader of the legacy program. He also said that, and I'm going to totally blank on the guy's name. I'm going to have to look it up. The national security advisor, I think, was our national defense. I'm going to look at it. It was that this guy was knew much more about the legacy program than he let on in the documentary The Age of Disclosure. Now I'm going to look up that guy's name, but so he dropped these kind of, informational bombs, if you will, on the Megyn Kelly show. And if you recall, like, I don't know, 2023, end of 23, he put out that he was going to be doing an op-ed for a major media company where he was going to go into greater detail about all the things that, that expand on the things that he had said at the hearing. Fast forward now to January of 2026. Wow, I can't believe that. He still hasn't produced any of that stuff. Now it's possible that he has been providing it to Burleson, like you said, because he's in that office. Burleson does credit Grush with really helping them to be able to write various like letters and things to various government agencies in an effort to gain more insight and information into, the
Right.
legacy program, etc. But I don't know. I mean, it's odd that he dropped off the media landscape for so long and really only came back after the Age of Disclosure documentary released, and he wasn't in it, which I think a lot of people were shocked about.
I was surprised to see him on Megyn Kelly. I really was. And I'm often wondered why he just blips in and out of the public eye so quickly. A lot of people will call him a hero to the community. Many people will call him a pariah. Much like Elizondo, they think his reputation's been absolutely tarnished. And then there was a scathing report on X about him that started with the blackvault.com's John Greenwald and Stephen Greenstreet from the New York Post says there's a 63-page report on why Grush originally lost his top secret coverage, and it had absolutely nothing to do with UFOs.
Yeah. Yes. And there's also a lot of questioning on the validity of that report. I was reading through some of the posts from the community on X, and someone calls out specifically that the numbering system that was used on that report doesn't match any known numbering system within the DoD. So now people are questioning whether or not that report is valid, or if it was created to basically, CYA somebody at the government.
Do you think it's all part of some sort of psyop?
I mean, everything could be. That's actually something that I've been really, really spending a lot of brain cell power on the last couple of days. Is just the whole UAP disclosure activity. It really, like, if you think about the 2017 New York Times article that broke all of this, I think the article, it told us about ATIP as an example of a black budget program that didn't have any congressional oversight. And then somebody latched on to that and said, we're going to make this all about UAPs so that people will forget that there are a crap ton of other black budget programs that also don't have congressional oversight. And so it's like, there's a term that's used with, this is not a political statement. This is just an acknowledgement. There's a term that's used around the Trump administration and how they kind of keep the news media, constantly moving on to something else. And it's called flooding the zone. And that's what I feel like this UAP disclosure topic has become. It's become at least within the UFO community, it's become a flood the zone activity so that we forget about the other things that were talked about in that 2017 article. Not to say that UAP disclosure is not an important topic.
Right.
But it feels like after, going on 9 years of talking about it, we really haven't made any progress. We've got more people talking about it and more people hinting at the possibility that there's a legacy program and that all kinds of people were involved, but we still haven't really made any progress on any of it. So it really feels like they're just going to continue to string us along and string Congress along so that they don't pay attention to the other $199 million or $1 billion or whatever the number is of black budget spending that they also don't have oversight on.
Here's the other thing too. Okay. That I'm curious about your thoughts. And it does tie to people like David Grush and Lou Elizondo, who are pushing for the transparency of this all. It looks like a real pipe dream and a little bit of a joke, considering, even though we take these subjects seriously, the majority of people in the United States or Canada, their level, they may believe, they may, have an interest in it, but it's a modest interest, if that makes sense. Okay. And there's a lot going on in the world right now, especially in North America. We're watching what's happening in Venezuela. We're watching a regime hopefully fall in Iran. We see what's happening between Russia and Ukraine and other war-torn areas right now. The economy isn't for a crap. You know, everybody's struggling. Food prices are high. You know, there's a shortage of doctors. Everything seems to be collapsing in on itself right now. And I think all of us, one way or another, are struggling to try and find that happy balance that we had, you know, less than a decade ago. I don't care what side of the politics you fall on. You know what I'm saying? I really don't. But what I am saying is I don't know where UFOs in that line of topics really stands. Like people are saying, you know, Trump is going to do this or Biden was going to do that, and you know, disclosure president, who's it going to be? What's kind of going on? And I don't think this topic on a scale of 1 to 100 equals out to a 3 to the president of the United States with whatever else is going on. What's your thoughts?
I would agree. You know, we talked about this back when it was kind of floated that Trump might be the one to finally reveal everything. And you know, he could be, but I think if he is, he's going to do it in a way that again kind of follows that flood the zone mentality of it's just going to be the next hot ticket item. But I don't like if he says anything about it, it's not going to be a lingering thing. I honestly, you know, and maybe this is this is probably the wrong thing to say, given you know the nature of the show, but I'm tired of talking about disclosure because I don't think it's ever going to happen. And I'm just at the point where I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to continue to video the stuff that I video and take pictures of the stuff that I take pictures of and investigate MUFON cases. And if disclosure happens, great. But until they have, you know, instead of the LA car show, until they have the LA UFO show where they reel them all out from Skunk Works and everything else. And they invite the public or even just, you know, YouTube content creators to come out and take pictures with the craft and explore the craft and all. Until that happens, I mean, I'm kind of done holding my breath for the next big UFO whistleblower that's going to come forward in Congress, because it's really getting on my last nerve that again there has been 9 years of talking with almost very little information. I mean,
Well, and that goes, you know, sort of stop your rant there for a second, but that also goes to the videos as well, like Age of Disclosure. And I've used this example before. I'll use it again. If you're building Lego, you follow the directions and you build the base before you build the building. And if you aren't willing to make that second row to start building the building up, all those pieces are worthless. We can only show the same 3 videos so many times before people are going to be saying, I've had it. And yet every video that comes out is pretty much the exact same with the same videos.
yep. It's what's, you know, different, what the different stuff, different day. I can't, you know, say the actual phrase, but, you know, different stuff, same day, something like that. Or what it's same stuff, different day. That's what it is. Sorry, it's late and I'm tired.
Let's get to this question right here from
Okay.
Shogun. Do you think that if we had disclosure, they'd have to address alien abductions and really admit government cannot stop them or say government is behind it?
So I think if we actually get disclosure, let's say it actually happens, I think we hear about everything from 2004 Nimitz incident forward. And since alien abductions that are publicly talked about anyway have kind of dropped off since probably the late 90s, I don't I don't think they have to acknowledge alien abductions at all. I think they can leave it out there as just part of the phenomenon. I think they can come forward and say, "Hey, the Nimitz case, it's real. It happened. You're right. We've already admitted that video is ours. And here's what we know since then." But they can still be ignorant of everything that we're all waiting and hoping that they'll tell us about from before 2004. Because it's not only about the alien abduction stuff and whether or not the government can or can't stop them or they're behind it. If the government goes back to 1947 and says we recovered the Roswell crash material and we sent it to Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, and oh, by the way, we recovered the Kingman crash material, and oh, by the way, we recovered the Dreamy Draw Dam crash in Phoenix, and oh, by the way, and so on and so forth. It gives too much credibility to other conspiracy theories that the government does not want to talk about.
Right?
Because then you'll have people coming out of the woodwork saying, well, if you lied about this for 80 years, what else have you lied about for 80 years or more? So that's another reason why I think they've already acknowledged the Nimitz incident happened. They've already acknowledged that the video is real. So they can disclose from 2004 forward. But I don't think majority of the community would accept that as disclosure.
I would agree with you on that. I would totally agree with you on that. And let's add one more thing to that, if you don't mind.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. If by chance that there is some sort of disclosure movement, be prepared for whoever the president is to say, my fellow Americans, we have found life out there.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to bring it anywhere close to this planet. And it's going to be something weak, which will still be awesome. It'll still be awesome, but it'll be something weak, like we found a radio signal that we were able to translate. That it sounds like it comes from another alien civilization. They'll pick a star system that it's coming from, one that we could easily get the signal from, and that's what will happen with it. Okay? The government's not going to give up anything on aliens. They're not going to give up anything on UFOs because they don't have to.
Right.
It's not a matter of want. It's because they don't have to. And in that sense, they're not calling the shots. The government is not lying in the United States when they say, we don't have any of this. Because they've moved it, if they do have it, they've moved it out to the military-industrial complex, which controls everything.
Yeah.
So the government can sit there and say, no, we don't know what you're talking about. They can deny. And it's their right to do so because they're not lying. But they're not going to tell you that they've moved parts to Lockheed Martin, that they've moved parts to Boeing or McDonnell Douglas or Northrop or any of the other of the military governmental agencies. They're not going to tell you that.
I mean, realistically, Dave, for all we know, the government has some sort of NDA they had to sign with contracting companies saying that they would not reveal or put in jeopardy, the private industry of those contracting companies. So the government may not even have the ability to say that without having legal ramifications.
Exactly.
That would be the ultimate, kind of get out of jail free card. Not only can I not tell you because we don't have it, I can't tell you because we're not legally allowed to. And we're not even legally allowed to tell you that we're not legally allowed to tell you.
Yeah. Plausible deniability can get out of a lot of things, my man.
Yep.
It really, really can. We got about a minute and a half to go here. Do you have anything short for us?
We talk about Grush. And I don't know. this might get me in trouble, but the guy who does Vetted, I can't think of his name. Patrick, thank you. He put out like a 40-minute video, basically calling into question all the stuff that Chris Bledsoe puts out there. All of his claims, all of his videos. Patrick apparently went to Contact in the Desert, where Chris Bledsoe did a Skywatch with a bunch of people. And Chris Bledsoe said at 9:45 it'll appear, and and at 9:45 this light showed up in the sky. And according to Patrick and others that were with Patrick, it was an airplane. But Chris Bledsoe claimed that it was an orb, and that if you were seeing it as an airplane, it was because you weren't a believer.
Let's talk about that later on.
Yep.
We'll get to that next week when you're back on, because that's an important topic for us to talk about.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, it was, like I said, in that 40-minute synopsis, if you will, he calls out a lot of things that Chris has put out there as proof. We can get into all that next week.
The Wizard says goodnight as we say hello to Mr. Ron Bumblefoot Thal. Rocking in the background with Little Brother is watching. Bumblefoot is the official music of Spaced Out Radio, rocking us in and out of every single show. Get your horns up for the guitar god himself. Special thanks to everybody listening in at work, at home, in your cars, wherever you may be. Thank you to everyone in our chat rooms tonight. YouTube, Twitch, LGAB, Facebook, Spreaker, LinkedIn, and on X. Remember, this show is copyright by Spaced Out Radio and Bigfoot Broadcasting Limited. Thank you so much for choosing to share your evening with us, because together, my friends,
we're watching.
we own the night. Mr. Bumblefoot, we need a favor. We need you to take us home. Yes, the Woo train has docked for the night, but soon, my friends, we shall ride again. Your seats are always available. Your tickets never expire. And if you want to bring a friend, we got room for them too. Good night, everybody. All right, there, buddy. That's great.
Yep. And I'll go through that video that Patrick did and pull out all of his stuff that he called out for Chris, if you really want to talk about it next week.
I do. I think it's important.
I do too.
Because the difference between Bledsoe, in my opinion, and I like Chris Bledsoe, he's a nice man. But the difference between him and, say, somebody like Elizondo or Grush is people aren't trying to be rude to him. They're trying to correct him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think people are being rude to the UFO whistle government people. And yes, there are people being rude to Bledsoe, and you're going to get that. There's people who are rude to us out there.
Right.
Okay.
When they're like I told my daughter tonight, you should just assume, I mean, it's a really hard line to take in life, but you should just assume when you meet anybody that they're going to be rude a-holes, and then let them prove you wrong.
Right. We're on the 9th now, right?
Yeah. Well, I am. Well, yeah, it's 12 a.m. for you, so you are too. I'll mention this next week too. But my main and like feeling right now around Chris, whether this is intentional or not, is that he's starting to sound to me a lot like Greer in the way that he talks about himself and his family's experience with the phenomenon. And that some way he's some sort of ambassador, or spokesperson for God or whatever as it relates to the phenomenon. And I think that's a very dangerous road to go down. So
Has it? And you see, with Bledsoe, a lot of people would say, "Well, it's ego; it's gone to his head." This is the most unegotistical person you'll ever meet. Okay, and I'm wondering though if, with all of his government contacts and UFO contacts within NASA or the agencies or whatever, I'm wondering if they're putting shit in his head.
Well, yeah, I also wonder how many people are just kind of going along with his claims and not questioning, that really looks like an airplane, or there's a meteor shower tonight. Are you sure we're not just seeing a bunch of meteor? They're just kind of going along with it, trying to be nice, but he interprets that as, see, all these people saw it too. So yeah, I don't know. We can get into it next week.
I think you're right.
I do think I saw a clip from his son. What's his son's first name? Ryan. Yeah. That he gave like a little diatribe, and he talked about people who claim to be abducted by reptilians or any alien for that matter. That, where's the evidence? Where's the proof? I don't believe any of that stuff. There are no beings that are walking the earth unless they're the light beings that our family is interacting with. So again, it's like that whole, somehow I'm more special than you. What you're experiencing isn't real, but what I'm experiencing is real. And that type of closed off thinking is what I have a problem with most of the community.
Mm-hmm.
So, anywho, all right. Good night, Dave. Good night, Filth. Nice to see you pop in for last 30 minutes of the show.
He's dirty.
I jumped in for 30 seconds Canadian time, so it's half an hour American time.
You're so hello, dirty.
Hello, Dave.
Your microphone sounds like shit.
Does it? I'll fix that.
You sound like you're in the toilet. You got your head buried in the toilet with your friend Brian C.
Oh, he left.
He'll reboot. He's good that way.
All right. I'm already 6 minutes away from trying to go to bed by 1:10. So
thank you for a great show, my friend.
Yeah. Talk to you later.
Later. Yeah. Wonder if Dirty's coming back. Wonder if the dirty one is coming back. Dirty, dirty, dirty. Hello, dirty.
Marginally, somewhat, mostly.
You're still sounding. Do you have a cover over your microphone? You're sounding very muffled.
Why am I muffled? You can open my open nose.
Sound like Charlie Brown's mother.
Merp, 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 merp.
Normally, I would say I don't sound like this.
Now you sound great.
Oh, I sound great now. Excellent.
Yeah.
Perfect. Well, it was a slight adjustment on the parabolic modulator.
Well, look at that. There you go.
Sent me back from Starship Academy to draw cartoons and said, your skills aren't
Yeah.
used. But I made another. This is, you can't see it, but this is the gargoyle. He's flying a UFO. Whee!
Very nice.
Yes. It's a button, Dave. A button. You can put it on your jacket. Oops.
You're a button. People look at you and you're like, that dirty filth, he's a button.
By the way, Dave, I was invited onto the Newfoundland Paranormal Show podcast. I can't remember the name. I got all the links and everything to me tonight, and I've been slightly tardy with
Did
the
you
writing
say
down of
hello,
things.
Newfoundland?
It was like hello to Newfoundland, and then I waited half an hour before I got back to them.
Or did you go real old school like Danny Gallivan? Hello, Labrador and Newfoundland.
No, I didn't, unfortunately, because I'm from Western Canada, so as far as I know, Newfoundland is just like anywhere past Montreal. A little bit of there's a little bit of Ottawa in there, or Quebec in there, but so yeah, so I'm gonna go draw some cartoons on their show, and then
Nice.
we've and most importantly, this Saturday at 3 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, that's 2 p.m. Pacific, and sometime next year on the Eastern Coast, I will be drawing cartoons, Dave. Live on Spaced Out Radio.
You're really good at that.
Well, I just sit there and I draw cartoons and I ramble about things. Got a couple interesting projects coming up as well, because most people have forgotten about it, but Valentine's Day is coming up faster than you expect. Faster than McDavid passing it to Draisaitl for a big shot, or just Zach Hyman putting it over top of the goalie's shoulder right upstairs where Norman keeps his mother.
Mm-hmm.
It's coming up quickly, so Fox and I have a plan for Valentine's Day. We'll have that explained out on this Saturday, pending she's not covered in drywall dust and mud. Yes, I don't want to get off on a rant here, Dave, but I was having some difficulties with Canada Post today.
Damn Canada Post.
You know how grumpifying it is to send something through Canada Post. You got to jump through all these hoops, and you have to get all these signatures, and you have to do all this stuff. But the most important part was I got it all sent off, and everybody's going to be happy. How's your editing going for you, Dave?
It sucks, dirty. I don't know if anybody else is like this. I'm going to rant now.
Dave's going to rant.
Okay.
I can hear you. I'm going to grab tea while you're ranting so I don't interrupt you.
Okay, you go grab tea. I'm going to clear my throat.
Yeah. Hello, Mr. Gargoyle.
Hello, Gargoyle.
Dave says hi, Gargoyle.
Meow, Dave. I'm just editing away here. Fap, you've never heard of Valentine's Day because you've never had a date on Valentine's Day. Andrew B., how you doing? Dirty might be coming back here. Holy cow. How long does it take to brew some tea here? Now I forget about what I was going to rant about. God damn it. I remember now. Oh, it's definitely dropped a couple of degrees here. Maybe a degree or two. Is anybody else paying attention to what's going on in Iran right now? God, I'm pulling for the people there. I have no stake in the game. I think it's pretty cool. I'm like glued on X trying to watch it. Like when I go to bed tonight, I'll be like scrolling through X watching to see what people are seeing in the videos that they are shooting. And God bless those people, man. I hope they do well. I hope they're able to get the freedom back. Where the hell did Dirty Filth go?
Excuse me. I burped.
My rant's over.
No, it isn't.
Yeah?
You're just going to start right now.
No? I already did it.
Wasn't much of a rant, Dave.
Okay, here's my rant.
Here's Dave's rant.
I'm not very computer literate. I
He's
can
not
use a
very
computer. I can
literate.
do, I can edit audio. I can do all that kind of stuff. And that I find that fun. So I'm trying to teach myself how to do AI videos because I think it's going to benefit us. And you know what pisses me off is when you type in to say one of the AI programs or on Google or whoever, how do you make this happen? How does this work? And it gives you the step-by-step process of what you need to do. Then you go to try and do it on your editing program, and the buttons it says that you need to push are not even on the program.
Yeah, that's because did you update your program to the newest thing? Did you do this? Did you do that?
Of course.
It's like getting an old instruction manual to how to run a VCR when you're trying to put your DVD movie in the DVD section or
Just pisses me off. Right? I don't get it. Don't get it whatsoever. You're the kind of guy who wants to paint lines on a hockey rink.
I would like to do that. You know what I enjoyed? My favorite job in the entire universe, Dave? Working at an old folks' home.
That would be cool.
All I did, put in light bulbs, clean carpets, set up the sand and the shuffleboard table all nice and good and everything. You know, simple things that made people's lives nice. That's probably my favorite job in the entire universe. What do I do now? I work in a warehouse and draw cartoons. I like drawing the cartoons. And but yeah, definitely 1 million macho man percent in the danger zone, Dave. I loved working at the old folks' home.
I
The
think you'd be a
knowledge that
good
was
care aide.
Sorry, go ahead.
I think you'd be a good care aide.
I'd like to listen, and I just like to talk to people, especially people that have older knowledge than me, that have been there longer than I have.
People who remember black and white television and milk coming in a glass jar.
One of my best pals in the world, she still has the old where you put the milk crate and the thing in the side of your house. I don't know what the word is for that, but she still has one of those. Doesn't do anything. It's not like the milkman actually shows up anymore. Unless you've read a lot of Club magazine or anything, but most people know what that is, so.
Are you going to continue on here, Dirty?
Well, I would like to tell everybody once again that this Saturday, 3 p.m. Pacific, or 2 p.m. Pacific, 3 p.m. Mountain Time, and I don't know, geez, like in the future, 6 years later on the Eastern Coast, I will be drawing cartoons, and I've like I said previously, I get a little Valentine's thing getting ready to go because everybody needs a Valentine's present for their special someone. Except for me, I never have to buy Mrs. Filth any Valentine's cards or flowers or nothing because she works with them all the time. And when your sweetheart works in a flower factory and they produce them via magical powers, she doesn't like flowers, so I never have to buy her flowers. The positive side of that is I get all the flowers in the world. Every once in a while, I come home and there's a huge bouquet of flowers there. And how nice is that?
Right?
Because Mrs. Filth comes
I like
home.
Flowers.
Well, Dave, if I sent you a flower, it'd probably be all dried up and crusty when you get there. However, you have a stack of artwork on your way to your house right now as we speak.
I appreciate
a stack of artwork, Dave. A gigantic stack. You're gonna have to buy like 35 frames or something.
Probably. Buddy, I'm off to bed.
You're going to bed?
I gotta work in the morning.
Well, I gotta work in the morning too. You know what you should do, Dave? You should move to Edmonton and come work in my warehouse with me.
That would be kind of cool.
We promise you 10-hour days, and sometimes we have hot dogs.
Yeah, because I love 10-hour days.
Yeah, but I will be there.
Right?
Chest hair full of China dust and...
Yeah. Boob to that. All right, buddy. Everybody else.
Have a good night, Dave.
Tomorrow night on the show, Lou Elizondo's lawyer, Ivan Hamill, will be here. Ivan will be joining us for a lot of fun, asking some tough questions. We'll ask him about the new book, the old book, ULPs, UIPs. We'll ask him about it. Thank you tonight to Benno with 2, Shogun, Pam, Deb, and Alaska's greatest athlete. If you haven't already, do us a favor, hit subscribe, ring that bell, give us a thumbs up, and don't forget after the show to leave a comment for us because it helps with the algorithms. Anyways, I am going to be stepping on out. You guys have a great night, and we will talk to you very, very soon. Much love, everybody. Take care.
Stay healthy, my friend.
You too.
If you need bail money, give me a call.
Always, Dad. Take care.
You too.